welcome to the Rage Select Podcast. John, welcome to the Rage Select Podcast. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm back again.
It's been so long since
it's been like
here.
An episode, maybe two.
John, we're not gonna dick around too much. We got too much to talk about today, but
we ain't got time for that.
You people don't know this, but like John is the most easygoing. Like if I ever need a person to record, I can be just like, "Hey, John, what you doing?" And he's like, "No, I could record. I could record." So.
Just call me Mr. No Days Off.
Yeah, well, it's this thing of, everybody else. I mean, I don't know if you feel this, but like my schedule is full of Rage Select. But everybody else that we know, their schedule is just full of everything. They're all like goddamn super busy all the time.
Yeah.
It's like every single person is working 4 jobs and is only available in like a 90 minutes on Tuesday from 1 o'clock in the morning until 2:30.
Yeah.
But we, as I said, no dicking around because we have not one. We don't have just a regular news week, which it was actually a pretty big news week. We also have a full PlayStation experience, and a video game awards show to cover.
Yeah.
So you know what? None of this. What did you think about that Batman versus Superman trailer? Maybe we'll get to that in the second half. I don't even know if there's going to be a second half. This may be the longest podcast ever. Of course, I don't know. You and I recorded for like 2 days straight when E3 happened this year. So.
Yeah.
But no, Sony. We're going to start. Sony had their PlayStation.
So you don't want to go in chronological order. You chronological order. You want to just go with fuck it. Let's start with Sony.
We're going to fuck it. Let's start with Sony. There was a bunch of stuff at the Video Game Awards, but I want to prioritize. It is less important. I mean, I'm sorry. It is less important.
Importante.
It was. Sony had 2 hours of solid announcements. The Video Game Awards had like an hour and a half where they showed a bunch of trailers. I know we got all of that to cover. Anyway, let's start. So the Sony PlayStation experience, this is the second one. I guess I didn't actually realize that it had only been one other one last year, right?
Yeah.
And so they started out with this like crazy old man trailer. Like it's kind of like it kind of felt like some of the who's the guy the whose name I always forget, the fake Sony CEO guy that they fired,
Kevin Butler.
Kevin Butler, kind of Kevin Butler-esque, where it's like these. It's just this black and white shot of this old man sitting on a park bench talking about, like, back in my day, we had to go to the arcades, and then a bully would slap a quarter off with the machine, and it smelled bad, and now you kids can go online. It's fucking awesome. And so get off. Actually, there's one part where he actually says, you kids get off my lawn and go play some video games. And I got to tell you that compared to, like, okay, regardless of what you may think about PC, about Sony,
you identify with that old man.
Well, let's not go there. Let's not go all the way there. But regardless of what you identify with, who you like better in the console wars, even though that's fucking stupid, right? The Ubisoft, all the conferences we've had, right? I feel like Sony does a really good job kicking off their things with this little thing, right?
Yeah.
I remember when the Xbox experience or the Xbox, the last thing that they had, I think it was at Gamescom, right, where they did a big press conference, and then Sony saved all their shit for this.
Yeah.
Where they just like had a guy come out on stage and he was like talking in German. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gamescom. Allow me to turn the stage over to somebody who speaks English. Here's the VP of Xbox. But anyway, it's a great way to kick it off. They had a bunch of trailer that had a whole bunch of stuff in it.
Sizzle reel.
Yeah, nice little sizzle reel. I don't think there was anything in there that we haven't seen before. Like, remember at E3 how I was like doing frame drops of like, is that a Gundam game or like, is that? Anyway,
just an old man who looks angry and bitter.
An angry old man talking about how awesome video games are. And from there, they started, like, I feel, again, like Sony also is really good at setting these things up because they just start out with Uncharted 4.
Fuck yeah.
And I don't know how much more there is to say these days about Uncharted 4. Like, there's...
Just when you think they can't surprise you, they fucking surprise you with something out of nowhere.
Do they?
The fucking dialogue choices.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
That was new. We didn't know that.
Yeah. Hold on. We'll get to that in just a second. But so this trailer starts with Nathan Drake. He's like doing paperwork in like a boathouse or something, some shitty office. There's a knock at the door. It's his brother. It's weird because I can't tell exactly in the chronology because we've got that first trailer of him in the jungle, right? And it's like, oh shit, it's my brother. This almost seems to take place after that because it's like his brother is going into all this detail about like, oh, I saw you get shot and then you were taken to a prison and I would have come and rescue you, but I was blah, 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 blah. And then they sit down and they talk about this stuff. And as you said, yes, there's totally a point where you get like a fucking choose one of 4 different things to say.
I'm almost willing to bet they have no effect on the story.
Well, in this particular part, it's the brother asking like about Nathan's adventures. And I can see from the dialogue choice that you're recapping either Uncharted 1, 2, or 3, depending on which one of those choices you pick. And then it actually cuts like up to a back shot of them, so it's entirely possible that it's just the exact same scene but with different dialogue coming out of old Nolan. I will say that every single time that I've seen Uncharted 4, god damn, Naughty Dog is on point with their faces and their characters and shit like that.
I think this is their last one.
Well, see, I kind of feel the same way about that I do about Dark Souls, where I'm like, good, go do something else, Naughty Dog. Like, I want Naughty Dog to make not The Last of Us and not Uncharted, because those were great games, but they're such a good company. Go make something else. Go make fucking Saints Row 5. Yes, Naughty Dog, make Saints Row 5. You guys, that would be weird. Yeah. No, that probably wouldn't be very good, but I don't know. What were your thoughts? You saw this one?
Yeah, no, it looks great. Like I want the game. That's it. Comes out like what, March?
Something like that. Yeah.
So it's like, well, fuck it. It comes out in March. I'm gonna be playing it in March. I'm gonna be like, this is the greatest fucking game ever. Even if it's not the greatest fucking game ever, I'll probably be playing it, saying this is the greatest fucking game ever while I'm playing it. And then months later, I'll be like, it was good.
John,
not as good as I remember.
You can't say that something coming out in March 2016. Okay, it could be the best game of all time for exactly as many weeks as there are between that and the release of Dark Souls 3, and then Dark Souls 3 comes out, that will be the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, because whatever game you're playing at the time was the greatest game of all time.
No, I am saying Dark Souls 3 is going to be the greatest game of all time, period.
You poor delusional man.
That's actually kind of interesting, though. I just never thought about the fact that this is the last Uncharted game, and then you got the last Dark Souls game.
Well, it's at least the last Uncharted game from Naughty Dog.
Also, I can say it's been 7 minutes before, and I've been holding off a lot, but over the course of this podcast, I'm going to have to talk about Dark Souls like 16 times. So
yeah, but no, my point is that this is the last one from Naughty Dog.
Yes.
That does not mean there will not be more Uncharted games in the future.
I have a feeling, though, they're just going to, like, what was that horrible, the Vita game? I don't think it was horrible, but it didn't have the
golden compass or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it just didn't have the I only played a little bit of it, but it just didn't really feel like the same as the Naughty Dog ones.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Maybe I need a blind taste test, right? Where they come out with Uncharted 5 and they're like, here, play this demo. It was created by Naughty Dog. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And they're like, then they take
suckers, it's not Naughty Dog.
They take the card out from in front. They're like, it was actually Obsidian Entertainment, Jeff.
It was actually Obsidian Entertainment the whole time.
No! Yeah, so I wrote down in my notes that this trailer, it was a little bit spoilery. I think that for people who want to go into it for nothing, then maybe switch. All right, so next up I'm going to skip over all of the yappalapping that happens from all the developers. I watched all of it.
Yeah.
And it's like Sony's probably the best about keeping that shit to a minimum but you know what? They've never been able to break away. We'll get to this in a little while. They've never been able to break away from having that one segment of every conference that just falls fucking flat on its face. All right, well, next up, the thing that everybody was talking about a week ago, the trailer for an actual in-game trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I think what's more interesting about this is what wasn't said at the conference, but then was sneakily released as a press release immediately after the conference.
Oh, yes, we'll get to that in a while. We'll get to that when we get back to the news part.
I know, but I'm just saying that this trailer looks great.
There's a few. It does. There's a few interesting things about it. Okay, so the trailer, one, it looks great. Outside of the only thing I can say that's a little bizarre is. And I don't know. Okay, so Cloud in this trailer looks an awful lot like he does in Advent Children.
Yes.
Barrett in this trailer looks like Wesley Snipes. Like, I actually went back and looked at what Barrett looks like in Advent Children.
Yeah.
And like he's here he's got his sunglasses on, his hair's a lot darker. The gun arm looks a little weird. Like, it almost looks like it should be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't really super dig the way that Barrett looked in this trailer. Also, I'm not above saying, people, that a lot of the voice acting in here was kind of crappy. Like the other people, the members. What's the
Oh God, Cerberus? I don't know. Dirt? I don't fucking know.
God, what the hell are they called? The rebels, right?
I
They've
don't
got a
remember
name.
what they're called.
Yeah, especially when this guy talks, this big fat guy, and he's just like, "You're on the side of Gaia, right?" He just sounds really terrible. Now, on the other hand, it looks really interesting. It also is really interesting that we're seeing, apparently, this is not going to be a direct one-to-one.
No.
3 guys on one guy, 3 guys on the other side. Instead, I feel like somebody over...
It's more in line with Kingdom Hearts.
Right. I feel like somebody over at Square was like, let's remake Final Fantasy VII, but let's make it Kingdom Hearts. That'll mean that everybody can be fantastic.
Yeah.
So... I'm going to just put this to you, John. If you had the magical button time machine super wizard powers, would you rather play what you're seeing right now in this trailer or just a straight remake of Final Fantasy VII?
I'm going to bring something up here.
Okay.
I don't remember what podcast it was we talked about it. It was probably the E3 where we talked about the announcement. Mm-hmm. And I said something very specific.
Okay.
They are damned if they do and they are damned if they don't.
That's correct.
And here's what they did. They said they basically, if they had released it as a 1-to-1 translation but just made it look pretty, people would be pissed.
Yes.
If they do exactly what they're doing, which is they're basically taking the story and the characters, they're making some minor tweaks where they need to, and then just basically recreating the game with modern sensibilities, people are going to be pissed.
Sure.
And that's true. Here's the thing I'm going to say. If you want the game the way it was originally when it first came out,
sure,
you can buy that for $15 on the PlayStation Store right now.
But it looks like ballsack, man. It looks like total PS1 nutsack. I want it. I
understand.
Look, this. I don't want to knock this because, as far as I can tell, this is a different thing, right?
Yeah.
I would have preferred if I had my magical wizard druthers just Final Fantasy VII, the same mechanics, because I dig the way that those combat mechanics were set out.
Understand.
Square's been dicking around with this real-time bullshit for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of it. Final Fantasy, Lightning Returns, 13 had that where you're switching between stuff. I think 13.2 actually was more of like a turn-based you go, I go type of thing, if I remember. I could be totally wrong about that. But I feel like I like RPGs that have that structure of I attack, you attack, I attack, you attack. I think it's a really easy way to understand the combat flow instead of having to do... I mean, they're already coming out with Kingdom Hearts 3, so I don't understand why they need to make... And Final Fantasy 15, from what we've seen in the demos, also another real-time action thing. And, like, I dig Final Fantasy 10, 7, 8, all the ones that had that old school...
Yeah, no, I understand. I get it.
So I kind of would have rather have seen this be that, but maybe, like... just jazz it up. Like I think I talked about that during the E3 conference. About
and my point here is that they have the original that you can play on your PS4 if you want it, if you want that, and then they have this completely new thing. And my reaction to it is, you know what? I always felt like Final Fantasy VII was overhyped as it is.
Okay.
So if they're going to give me something completely new, and if it's good, then fuck it. Who the goddamn cares what they changed and what they didn't change, and if it's different or not?
I don't know where you think you are, but this is the internet where we complain about everything.
I know, but I'm just saying, let them do whatever the fuck they're doing, and if it sucks, complain all you want. If it's good, who the fuck cares?
Yeah. Well, we're going to come back to that in a little while. I mean, there definitely there was definitely a part in the trailer where I saw that there were two portrait. There was one for Barrett, one for Cloud. I think that's probably going to be something where you can switch between.
Yeah, no, they've said
characters.
you can switch between characters.
And it definitely had, down in the bottom left-hand corner, there was definitely attack, magic, item, type of thing, like you would see in kind of Kingdom Hearts-esque type of thing. I mean, I actually kind of like the idea of having a Kingdom Hearts-style game that is not like Disney and we're hitting each other with keys because, as we all know, I'm not into that, right? I'm not into Kingdom Hearts.
I will say, the stuff that's in the trailer is like maybe like the first like 30 minutes of the game, of the original game. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I think that we really all need to know still, John, what I think we need to know before we can pass prejudgment on Final Fantasy VII is, does Cloud dress up in a dress to infiltrate the brothel?
That is a good question.
That I gotta know whether that's going to be a thing, and also, can you go on a date with Barrett?
Also, is the surfboard, is the snowboarding segment still there?
It's true. It's very true.
Is all of that still there?
They've licensed the entire SSX Tricky engine for the snowboarding.
The other thing, I don't know if you noticed, but it's all Unreal 4.
Oh, is it Unreal 4?
Yeah, it's all Unreal 4 engine.
Okay.
Like, they're doing this entire thing under Unreal 4.
Well, good. I'm tired of Square putting their games off for 5 years so they can make a new engine that's out of date by the time the game comes out.
From what I understand, they did that with the idea of this way we can get the game out as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Though there's still no release date.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's Square. I'm just used to, like, Square announces a thing, and I'm just like, well, that looks cool. It'll never come out. And then one day I'm like, oh, shit, that game comes out tomorrow. Fuck.
I'm still waiting for 15, man. I really want that game.
All right. Well, so after that, next up we had the most forced enthusiasm from a person is this poor lady got to come up on stage, and she's actually the runner-up for the person who used the words, and I fucking hate this, PlayStation Nation. She's the runner-up for the most uses of the phrase PlayStation Nation in this particular conference. But she had to come up and basically talk about, and it's one of those things, I hope that we can get away from this in the next couple years. She had to come up to be like, hey, everybody, Black Ops 3 map pack, 30 days exclusivity on the PlayStation. We got a great bunch of Black Ops. And it was like, all right. And then Star Wars. We've got...
You know what they're doing, right?
What?
They're just be like, hey, remember all those years that Microsoft got to be rubbed in our faces?
I know.
We're gonna rub it in their faces, and it's gonna be forced and not really be entertaining.
If you want to rub it in their faces, fly you and me out to Santa Monica or wherever the hell this is, right? And we'll just go up on stage and be like, fuck you, Microsoft. 30 days. Now it's over here. Boom. Drop mic.
You just want them to fly you and me out, huh?
I just want to go to California.
Yeah. No, I would. Yeah, I would totally have been on board for getting. I was like, why don't we have press passes? These things. Why aren't we there?
Because that costs money, and I have no money.
This is true,
and it's also like Christmas time, and I forgot, and so all those things. Also, let's see. They talked about the Call of Duty World League and how Sony's going to be like a big part of that, which is their Call of Duty esports thing, which I don't really understand because I don't play it. You can play the Battle of Jakku at the PlayStation Experience. You can play it now as the time before recording this. So
but when this happened, you got to play it before anybody else.
Okay, if I was at this thing, I would not be playing Battle of Jakku.
I would not be playing Black Ops 3. I would not be playing Star Wars.
Nope.
I would not be playing Disney Infinity because guess what? That shit's already out.
That's right. Now, they did actually have one tiny little part of this particular segment where they actually showed a bunch of like online videos of people playing. And so here's one of Boba Fett shooting an X-Wing with his missile.
Yeah,
and there's one later on with Darth Vader doing the same thing. And like, hey, that's cool. But other than that, yeah. And then that poor lady walked off stage. Now, as if that shit show wasn't shit showy enough, next up was everybody's friend, your friend and mine, Randy goddamn Pitchford, or as I wrote it in the notes, Randy fucking Pitchford, who looks like a fucking used car salesman.
Yeah,
and is
the only thing he's missing is the giant cowboy hat.
Yep, and is the winner of the most uses of the words PlayStation Nation in one segment.
If anyone's going to use that word or that phrase or terminology or whatever, it's going to be Randy motherfucking Pitchford.
And you know what? Randy Pitchford, I feel... I don't like Randy Pitchford very much. Because, you know what? He got up on the stage and started crowing about Borderlands. And I'm like, bitch, Borderlands is old now, all right? Like, I know that it's a good game and whatever, but, like, everybody last year was the pre-sequel, and I think that most people, not including you, John, were like, really just more of, okay, I mean, Borderlands 2 came out when I was working at Spill.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude. Like, put out a different game that's not Borderlands and quit trying... Like, they keep re-releasing Borderlands over and over and over again, and I'm just like, fuck you, man. Put something else out that's not Borderlands. And that is what he was here to talk about, was Battleborn. Which...
Yeah, Battleborn.
Is interesting because...
Some, like, MOBA
it's
thing, or arena fight shooter thing.
I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
We saw a trailer for it like at E3, maybe like last year, right? That was like all there's like a guy with a big cowboy hat, like really interesting character design.
Well, it's like the first couple of trailers that didn't tell you anything about what the game was.
Right. Well,
and then they revealed what the game was, and everyone went, uh-oh.
I mean, I think...
All right, cool.
I think it's... but you know what? All this new MOBA stuff to me kind of smacks, and we're on such a shorter time frame. I don't know. Maybe it's not, right? But every time anybody releases a MOBA these days, it reminds me of like when everybody was putting out a new MMO in the decline of MMOs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that unless you are Blizzard, Valve, League, you know, the ones that are already out there, right?
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit about your fucking spin-off MOBA.
Yeah.
Why? So, all right, let me see.
I did like the thing they were like, hey, everybody, you're going to get 25 heroes in Battleborn unless you're in the beta, in which you get one extra.
Yeah, okay, so there's going to be couch co-op. The story is it's the end of time. You're fighting over the last star in existence. It's being made by the Borderlands team. There's going to be an open beta in 2016 and an extra hero for PlayStation users who play in the beta, who is Toby, this penguin in a mech suit.
Tobey Maguire?
Toby the penguin in a mech suit. I don't know. Did you watch the actual trailer for this?
No.
Probably not.
No. I was like, I realized I don't care about Battleborn a long time ago.
It doesn't look bad.
Oh, no.
Like,
from what I've seen, it looks good. But I don't care.
It doesn't look bad. One of the things that was real irritating is that Toby...
Are we sure that's a penguin? Is it a penguin?
Yeah, it's a penguin.
Kind of looks like a cat.
No, it's a penguin.
It's a penguin?
It's
all
a
right.
penguin. Trust me, I looked at it.
All right.
This is all... We're watching a kind of low-res version of the stream right now, but when Toby is out there, he's all like a shit-talking penguin in a mech suit, and I'm sure that they're like, ha ha, look how goofy this is, and it's like, fuck off, Gearbox. I'm so fucking tired. I mean, maybe just get a new CEO. I think I might hate Randy Pitchford so much that it might be bleeding over into me disliking games even though I shouldn't.
Just make a new Duke Nukem.
Yeah, or just replace Randy Pitchford as CEO. How about that?
Get his office out of the goddamn video game museum.
There you go. The game itself, though, looks fine. It's it's all cartoony. It's kind of got that weird like Team Fortress 2 over exaggeration. Yeah. And as with most MOBAs, like all the characters look very striking and different. And but you look at this, and then you've also got.
I also feel like I've seen this trailer before.
Have you?
At E3.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's so forgettable that I kind of just forget about it.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for an action one, we've got like Overwatch and Gigantic, which looks better than this, in my opinion. I don't know why, but it just seems have more heart than this. This kind of seems like a cash grab a little bit to me. And then we'll talk about the one at the very end of this conference that was from Epic that they just announced.
Yeah.
Which, as I said, we'll get to that later. So anyway, that was Battleborn. I don't know. It's the thing. Then there was a strange trailer. Let me see if I can't get it going here. Here it is. For the brand new character in Street Fighter V, Fang.
The final
one. Mm-hmm.
The final announced character.
Yep.
Fang, F-A-N-G.
F.A.A. Yeah, some kind of acronym.
He's apparently a Shadaloo guy.
He's weird. And that's saying something considering, actually, no. Actually, most of the Street Fighter characters so far this round have been fairly tame, right? I mean, there hasn't been any... I guess the guy with all the hair, right?
Yeah.
It's hard from the trailer to kind of get an idea of exactly what kind of style he has. The developer came out... I don't remember the guy's name. I'm so sorry. And said he's real tricky and real weird. He's very tall. He's got this kind of like... He looks like a villain from Big Trouble in Little China. That's kind of what he looks like.
He also looks like an anime character.
He's like super thin, big long sleeves, little glasses, and like a beard.
You know who he kind of looks like?
Who's that?
And it just dawned on me.
Who's that?
Kung Fu Hustle, the guys with the guitars that would use the things to throw knives.
Oh yeah, he does kind of
looks like one of those blind guys that would use sound to kill people. Except he doesn't have a guitar and doesn't use sound to kill people.
Right.
And I don't know what's going on there.
Anyway, we had Street Fighter V main dev. I'm sorry, I didn't write his name down. I'm terribly sorry.
That guy.
To come out and talk for a while. And he talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. A few things he said that they denounced the 6 characters that are coming in the first year post-launch to Street Fighter V, which is Alex, Guile, Balrog, Ibuki, Juri, and Urien.
Yeah, it's all characters we knew.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah. Well, someone parsed the beta data. They mined the data in it and said, "By the way, everybody, here's other characters that are going to be announced." And then Capcom said, "Well, there's only one more character that we haven't announced." And they're like, "Okay, these are all post-release characters that are going to be released."
Well, that makes sense because when he came out on stage, the first thing that he said was, "Hey, how do you like?" Hey, this is the last character for Street Fighter V. I'm so happy that this didn't get leaked and that we actually got to show it to you here, as opposed to like every other character that has somehow been leaked over the course of the thing. So there wasn't really a whole lot else to it. I mean, they talked a little bit about they're having a competition. They're having a fighting competition there at the PlayStation Experience.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah.
Street Fighter competitions are always awesome.
Still on course to come out. Nothing super huge. And then this guy Gio Corsi came out on stage and kicked him off.
Yeah,
which was a little bizarre. And he, I believe, stays on for pretty much the entire rest. He stays on for quite a while. So now we're getting into the smaller indie games / smaller announcements, stuff that you may or may not give a fuck about. Like the first thing he talks about.
Well, I think they even talked about like VR.
Well, no. That's later on. But this is basically like to me is the place that we would normally see the montage of indie games that are coming out, and then the announcement of like 2 or 3 new ones.
Yeah.
The first one was this one called Dead Star, which is like a top-down shooter where you're out in space. They actually showed this really interesting game mode. Apparently, it's a multiplayer game where you and like 4 or 5 other people can drop into a capital ship that then goes places and shoots the other people who are these little fighters that are online. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's unfortunately, I believe, a lot of Steam games that kind of
look like this,
similar to this, like gratuitous space battles and space pirates and zombies.
Yeah,
kind of top.
There's a couple of early access games I can't remember the names of specifically that I'm like, this looks like all of those.
Yeah, there's that one that with David Bowie that we were looking at where you pick up ship parts. So, I mean, this doesn't look bad or anything. It just it doesn't. It's not really
looks new to consoles.
Yeah. It might be the sort of thing that's fun to play. I mean, for God's sake, Helldivers wasn't doing anything fantastically real, but it was one of my favorite experiences over the last year. So then they actually had a pretty solid showing from Adult Swim Games.
Adult Swim Games is like they are putting money into a whole shit ton of stuff.
They're starting to kind of be like the new Devolver of just like, really? That's an Adult Swim game? But the first one, I don't know if you watched all these, John, but the first one that they talk about is this game called Death's Gambit.
I've heard of this. I haven't actually. I didn't actually get to see this trailer. This is one of the ones I didn't get to see yet.
But this is 2D Dark Souls. Kind of like Salt. It's not exactly like Salt and Sanctuary. It looks a little tighter than Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah.
But it definitely, I mean, like, okay, so I can't tell you this for sure, but it's got giant bosses. It's got like rolling and shields, and it seems an awful lot like a Dark Souls experience. It's got kind of a dark fantasy world. And the main character seems to have a mix of melee and stuff like that. They also talked about Raise the Dead.
I'm excited. I'm a Kickstarter backer of this game.
Didn't this come out?
No.
It's not out yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Tell me
what you saw previously was a demo that is not indicative of the final game.
Okay, well, what is Raise the Dead?
You are a guy named Ray,
right,
who gets turned into a zombie,
right,
and also gets the ability to turn other people like into zombies and mind control them.
Okay.
And you're not trying to do evil. Like, you're not like, oh, I'm gonna go eat brains. Like, you're not. That's not your goal or
shtick.
whatever.
Okay.
But that is the goal of other zombies, and you're trying to survive through it. I got to play through a demo, which was not indicative of the final game. I know they're working on the game, and I'm going to get access to the beta. And I will say that if they let us do like like if they say, hey, you can make videos of these open beta stuff,
right,
then we will totally do that on the Super Awesome Video Game Show at some point.
Okay.
But it's very much you're controlling a group of zombies as Ray to get towards some ulterior goal that they haven't actually.
Pikmin-ish,
kind of Pikmin-ish with zombies.
All right.
Really funny. I love the character designs in it. They've got a bunch of like very clearly references to TV shows like Twin Peaks, and like the cops look like Dale from Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay.
And like other characters, not Dale Cooper, but like whatever the deputy guy is.
Okay. Andy.
Yeah, Andy. I don't know why I said Dale. Not the sheriff, but the deputy. The
kind of G-Wiz.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think
they all
Andy.
look like they all look like him.
Oh, okay.
So it's it's very fun, very tongue in cheek. I like what I saw of it in the Kickstarter, so I backed it, and I'm gonna get access. And then there will apparently be like you can walk up. You're gonna be able to walk up to like gravestones, and it'll have people's names in there. My name's gonna be on one of the gravestones.
Nice.
So look for that.
All right.
Yeah, I kickstarted that shit.
Next up, Duck Game, which looks crazy.
I've actually played this before.
Oh, yeah?
On the Ouya.
Oh, yeah?
So now they're getting off of the Ouya, and it's actually pretty crazy.
And then Rain World, which is this little... This reminds me a lot of Limbo. It's kind of... it's like this little cute-looking white thing wandering around in a world full of dark pollution and monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Big, small radios, big televisions, no fucking idea. Can't tell you a thing about this.
Kind of looks like Fez, but on crack.
No, it's like there's things. Yeah, I don't know.
And then from
finally,
Double Fine,
from Double Fine, Headmaster.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in this,
which is like some kind of like throwback space game, except that you can take your head off of your spacesuit body and then like fly it around.
Yeah, you're essentially just a head, but you can attach your head onto a robot body and take control of it.
Right.
And that includes anything from regular robot enemies to robot dogs to robot other stuff. And each things have different capabilities and things. It looks a lot of fun. It looks crazy.
It looks
weird.
real solid. Like it looks. It's got a nice look to it. It's kind of got this retro futuristic look to it. A lot of like crazy colored lights and stuff. Yeah, Headlander. Sorry, not Headmaster.
Yeah, Headlander. It looks fun.
Yep, it does. And then they trotted out Mr. Schafer, who, here's the thing. I think Tim Schafer should not be allowed into game conferences.
Yeah,
because he's too good.
Yeah,
he's
a good dude.
He's too much of an old.
You like him?
He makes everybody else look. He makes Randy Pitchford look even more like a douchebag. 'Cause he's just like, hey everybody, I'm Tim Schafer. I make a lot of video games. Here, watch this trailer for Day of the Tentacle HD. Looks cool, right? Yeah. And it totally does.
Also, we've gotten the rights to do an HD remaster of another game.
Yep.
Full Throttle.
Yeah,
maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah, this, by the way, the Day of the Tentacle
Day of the Tentacle looks good.
It looks good, and it looks like I can kind of tell that they ran a lot of this through like some kind of up-resing filter, and then like went back in and kind of like played with it. But here's the thing. I think this looks a lot better than Grim Fandango and HD ended up looking after they did their remaster of that, because there was still some graininess, weird. No, I remember what it was. The character animations were still very stiff, even though the character models were very good looking, right? So, but this looks appropriately doofy. If you've never played Day of the Tentacle, I highly recommend it.
Oh my god, I'm a huge fan of Day of the Tentacle.
I highly recommend it. It's got one of my favorite lines in a video game. After this is the first 5 minutes of the game, so you can just shut your ears and skip forward by a minute. But Purple Tentacle drinks the toxic waste, and he's like, I feel smarter, more aggressive. And I love the connection between the two of them. But yeah, if you've never played Day of the Tentacle, allow me to just take a second and say it might be the greatest time travel game of all time. It might be the greatest adventure game of all time. Maybe, because I still have a real soft spot for Sam and Max, which hopefully they'll get to after Full Throttle.
Full Throttle. Another fun game.
What? So apparently they got Full Throttle remastered as well, which is fantastic.
I love the fact that Double Fine is either working deals to kind of bring a lot of their old, like the stuff that wasn't done under the Double Fine umbrella,
Right.
Getting the rights to some of Tim Schafer's older stuff,
Right.
Like Day of the Tentacle and like Full Throttle, and I like the fact that they got the rights to Psychonauts back, with the FIG crowdfunding to do Psychonauts 2,
We'll
which
talk about that in the game section, but I'm just trying to think outside of, because Sam and Max would obviously be another one that they would need to do, but I wonder if Telltale actually has the rights to both Sam and Max and Monkey Island right now, because
I think they
did make both Monkey Island and Sam and Max stuff, which we'll get to Telltale in a little while, but I wish those motherfuckers would put out more Monkey Island and stop. I mean, what the fuck, man? Everything old is new again, and I can't get some goddamn Monkey Island? Come on. But as you were talking about with the FIG Psychonauts 2, they're also making Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin specifically for PlayStation VR.
yes,
and that's pretty much the entirety of the information.
yeah, and they have like a little
it.
graphic that's like making fun of the what was it, the
Oh
VR,
yeah, the time cover.
Yeah,
of
the time
Palmer Luckey.
cover.
Yeah.
where he's in front of the beach and he has the VR thing on. He's kind of floating in the air.
He's jumping sillily. Anyway, he does say that there's going to be you may be able to use some special. I've never played Psychonauts.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a really
never.
good game.
I'm sure it is. I never got around to it. It's one of those things that I was like, I'd like to play it, but as we all know, there's like 6 billion things left to play this year. And then they put out fucking Yakuza.
I mean, don't get me wrong; it has some problems, but it's a really good game.
Yeah. I think I even own it on Steam. I just haven't actually played it
I
yet.
would not recommend playing it on Steam because there's no
Really?
controller support.
Really?
Yeah, it's keyboard and mouse only, and that's not the way to play that game.
Well, so next up, we had a few more things. Old Giancarlo here came up to talk about, this is a weird thing, John. They had a trailer for Invisible Ink,
Yeah.
which I know you and I both played and really like.
Yeah.
I feel real bad. This trailer is in no way, shape, or form representative of what happens when you're playing the game Invisible Ink. Like, it's a cinematic trailer, and that's great, and it looks stylish in the art style of Invisible Ink. Fantastic, great, whatever. Not what you actually play the game, what it's like. You know, it's a turn-based thing, and it's
but
like
it's a good game, and if you want to know more about it, go look for the episode of Super Awesome Video Game Show.
Did we do two? I
Yeah,
think
we did two of them. Do
because-
the most recent one because that's going to be more indicative of what the final game is.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I've loaded it up a few times since then and played it. It's
Yeah,
really
because
good.
we did it once when it first came out on early access, and then they completely redid the entire game at one point.
Clay is so good about that. Like they actually
And-
took a lot of player feedback and went back
and then they
changed
redid
that.
it, and we were like, "This is almost a completely different game. We got to cover this again."
Yep. Also from Clay, Don't Starve Together is coming to the PlayStation 4. I don't care.
Yeah,
I've tried playing Don't Starve a few times, and I don't understand why I wouldn't just play Minecraft, because it seems very similar, and the aesthetic difference of Don't Starve doesn't make it all that much more interesting to me. This trailer is real nice, though. I mean, just kind of like with the Invisible Ink trailer, there's a bunch of kind of cinematic stuff that I don't think you would actually see in the game. But yeah, so if you're into Don't Starve, I don't know, maybe play it next year or something like that. Next up, there was a really nutty. Oh God, who was this? Who is it that's making this? God damn it! This is Zodiac Orcanon Odyssey.
What?
Yeah, and it's so strange because like we saw a few different parts of it. It reminds me a lot of Child of Light, because there's a part where you're flying around on the back of this griffin, and then there's like a combat section that looks like a traditional like RPG, where you got your guys on one side, bad guys on the other side, but it's all these kind of like HD 2D sprites.
Okay.
And then it's got some kind of like anime motion comic stuff that's going on in between that. Seems interesting. I mean, you know, I thought that Child of Light was real fun. You know what? Let me look up who is actually making this so that I can, because that should give people a little bit of a good idea. It looks interesting. They did keep pulling out to show like all three of the screens of the PlayStation thing.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate it when they do that. Oh, is this already out? This might already be out. Is it already out? Welcome to the world of Orcanon. Yeah, I think this is an indie game.
Okay.
And it looks like it's already out for
PC
at least. Wait, let's see. Apple, Android, PlayStation.
Oh, it's
an iOS game.
Okay.
Never mind. Fuck you guys. I hate that shit when they put iOS games out. All right. We actually skipped over while I was looking that up. Hitman Go is coming to the PS4 and the PS Vita.
That's another mobile game coming to the PS4.
Brawlhalla is coming to the PS4.
I am familiar with Brawlhalla.
Is a little strange to me because Brawlhalla, as near as I can tell, isn't out of beta on Steam yet. Like,
it's still in early access. Well, I mean, there's a lot of games that are still on early access that are popping up on PS4 and also Xbox One.
That's true. It's very true. All right. Well, next up, those motherfuckers done fucked me hard by making one of their by the way, I'm not even going to go into the number of. There was plenty of things. Actually, I don't know if we've gotten any so far where they were just like, and it's out today. I think that comes a little bit later when they start doing that stuff. But this is one of them where they were like, oh, by the way, the English version of Yakuza 5 is coming out on Tuesday. Totally wrecking up all my goddamn plans. Like, here's my Sophie's choice, John. What should we play for Rage Light? Yakuza 5 or Devil's Third? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know which one of those people want to see any more, but whatever. Anyway, Yakuza 5 coming out in the PlayStation 3. I actually think I played Yakuza 4 all the way to the end.
Yeah, nice.
And I played part of Yakuza: The Dead Souls.
Yeah.
But then they also announced the final. They announced for sure that they're bringing Yakuza 0, the prequel to the entire Yakuza series, on the PS4 over to. They're localizing it in the West. So this is Yakuza
women are beautiful.
In 1988. It looks really, really good.
It does look good.
Like just the fidelity of the graphics and the character models and stuff. Yakuza has always been a very good-looking series.
Yeah, it always has been.
That guy hit a guy with a motorcycle.
One of my favorite things in the Yakuza games.
What, hitting a guy with a motorcycle?
Yes.
But yeah, it looks very Yakuza-like. Like guys beating up a bunch of people on the street. Some guy's got an eye patch. Yeah, some ladies in the 80s disco club.
I missed out on 4, so I kind of want to go buy Yakuza 5 now. Now that I know that it's out.
Yeah.
Because I'd actually found out before I came over here that it came out. Like I didn't know that like earlier in the week, like when it actually was out.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday. I like didn't find out until today. Like it's funny because I think you and I both found out on the same day. It's just I found out earlier in the day than you did.
Yeah, it was weird because I have this master list off I think it's the Game Informer website that I go on that has all the release dates. So I'm usually able to plan stuff pretty well. But this was like the other day I was like, all right, let me make sure, blah, blah, blah. Hatful Boyfriend 2, Yakuza 5. The fuck are you doing, game industry? Xenoblade Chronicles was supposed to be the next to the last one, and then Devil's Third.
Last Play 2?
Yep. So then they announced after Yakuza 5, they announced that they're bringing Last Blade 2, the Neo Geo fighting game.
Yeah, here's
to
the thing.
PlayStation 4 and Vita.
I fucking love The Last Blade. The first game, that game is fucking badass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
okay.
a good fighting game.
They're also bringing now I wasn't 100% on this, but they're also bringing King of Fighters 14 to the PlayStation. There was oh wait, did I skip that?
You might have skipped over.
I might have skipped over it. Some of these are so freaking small. Yeah, that's it. King of Fighters 14. John, I'm not much of a King of Fighters guy.
I'm a huge Neo Geo King of Fighters, Fatal Fury, Last Blade, all of those games. I love them all.
Great. So then you could tell us how you feel about the fact that King of Fighters 14 is apparently 3D for the first time?
No,
it's
not. It's been 3D before.
Oh, it's been 3D before. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here to tell me otherwise.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. Like it wasn't as good as the 2D stuff.
Okay.
As far as this goes, what's funny is in this trailer, like they came out and said that's not indicative of how the game will look when it finally comes out.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why would they make this a trailer that doesn't look? Oh, is it supposed to look better when it finally comes out?
Yeah, they're trying to claim that it's still like a work in progress.
Oh, okay.
Trailer.
Great.
Which is what they said about the last trailer that they released a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this trailer does look a little bit better than that other trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
Is that really very important to people? How good I mean, for a fighting game, it seems like the most important thing would be how does it play, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing is how does it play, and that's what we don't know yet.
Okay. Well, let's see. Next up after that was when we got another look at Nioh. You remember from
The Matrix?
No, Nioh.
Oh yeah, the Team Ninja game.
The Team Ninja game that's like Dark Souls. So there's my third or fourth Dark Souls reference. We saw a little bit of this at E3. There's not a whole hell of a lot more to talk about. Like it just from looking at it, it seems like a slightly tighter, faster Dark Souls engine or Dark Souls fighting style.
Or Ninja Gaiden.
Like it definitely has this kind of moving slowly and then locking on and dodging attacks. There's a bunch of different magic that happens. We actually see what appears to be summoning somebody else into your game.
Okay.
With a different, kind of armor set. So that's kind of cool. And that guy got his head chopped off.
Nice.
So, yeah, kind of dark fantasy. There's even, you see the plunging attack that was even that very much like Dark Souls. So,
Jeff, I think you have a problem.
No,
You see Dark Souls and everything.
I don't. It's not. It's. I only see it where it's obviously been like this game obviously owes a lot of its of what it is to Dark Souls, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that's good. Look at what. Did you see that? Okay.
It's a bonfire, but with the samurai sword. I got it. Yeah.
You don't just sit here and tell me that this thing doesn't have anything in common with Dark Souls. Anywho, I think that's great. I think that the influence that Dark Souls has had on games out there, if you're seeing it in other games. I mean, we saw it in Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen didn't.
And also, I mean, this is by the same people, well, not the same people, but the same company behind the Ninja Gaiden games.
Right.
And those have also been known for being hard.
Sure, yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Doing a game
look at that
owes a little bit to Dark Souls.
Yeah, look at that.
It's not,
Samurai sword on fire with a bunch of other swords in a pile. Just like a bonfire that I used to know. Not a whole hell of a lot more. I wish they would have spent a little bit more time on that and a little bit less time on King of Fighters, right? Like, tell me a little bit more. Because isn't that the one that's like based on an unfinished movie script?
What? The King of Fighters game?
No, Nioh.
Oh. I have no idea.
Developed by Team Ninja. Yeah. Game is based on an unfinished script by Akira Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Anywho. So next up, we had a few jerk-offs who came out on stage to sit in chairs like they're on a talk show. And this kind of begins up... this begins the place where we're going to be fast-forwarding, and I'm just going to go through everything they talk about because it was boring.
I thought that said something. I thought it said Sid Human. It's like, yes, I am human. But it's Sid Schumann.
Bastion is out on the PS4 and the Vita. This is where they... Yeah, exactly. For like $4 if you haven't played Bastion yet. Which, honestly, if you haven't played Bastion yet, go fucking play Bastion, man.
It's a good deal. $4 is a great deal.
The Bit Trip is out, which is the first 6 Bit Trip games. Bit Trip games are good games. Go play them. And Nuclear Throne, which I know you're a big fan of.
Big fan of that game.
So go play that. I'm going to skip forward because the next thing that was of any real interest was this game called Brutal with an ampersand where the at is or where the A is, the word brutal.
It's the ASCII game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So I don't remember seeing this before, but now that you say that, I think I might remember hearing about it before.
I heard about it from people were messaging me like, you need to watch this trailer.
Oh, okay.
Like after this came out. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's like an old ASCII game, except that they've made the ASCII characters into like 3-dimensional characters with like these white piping on them, so it kind of looks like.
Well, it's all ASCII.
Well,
like if you actually look at the designs on them, it's all like for the most part, outside of like a few things, it's all ASCII characters
being built into these 3D characters.
Yeah.
And then they're on, I mean, I could say that like it's kind of an interesting concept. The environments though are all so flat, like they just took an ASCII game and then just like tilted it down, right?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
It could be interesting.
I don't know. Could be interesting, yes. Next up, we're going to skip almost all the way over the show 2016. It's baseball. Then, let's see. I'm actually going to skip over quite a bit of this because we have a lot left to go. So we're going to start getting a little bit faster with this. The show 2016 looks like baseball. It's fucking baseball.
I'm watching the baseballs.
Guns Up is a free-to-play like tower defense, take on other people on the PlayStation 4. If you're PlayStation Plus, I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just not worth talking about for more than the 30 seconds I just described it. Fat Princess Adventure. By the time this comes out, you probably have seen more of than we could talk about. It looks like a 4-player co-op, like old Gauntlet or Diablo.
But in the Fat Princess universe, which is
Princess
great because I think that's a fun game, and I think it's I love the fact that they're doing more with it.
Yes. Let's see. We'll see if I can find here. Next up, they did quite a bit of Ratchet and Clank, which I have been known to gush about over and over again.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were also like remaking the first game.
Oh yeah. Like
I didn't realize they were remaking it. And it's set to come out like right before the movie.
April 12th, 2016, which is right before the movie comes out. But yeah, this has been. I mean, they did a trailer for this. At E3 a couple years ago.
Yeah, I for whatever reason I just completely thought it was something else.
But it's a remake of the first game, which I never played. I came in, I think, on the PlayStation 3 Ratchet and Clank games. Looks just
good,
gorgeous.
Yeah,
I'm
excited.
All of the fidelity of a Ratchet and Clank game, but like with this really impressive lighting engine on it. It looks like very traditional Ratchet and Clank style gameplay of jumping and shooting, and they had a Groovatron in there, which I'm pretty sure was not in the first Ratchet and Clank. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Played it. They also
all run together.
Had a gun called the Pixelator, which was interesting because when you shoot, did you see that part of the trailer where he's shooting people with the Pixelator, where it basically turns them into giant pixels?
No, I didn't see that.
Let's see. I could probably bring it up here. Anyway, this looks to me like a great way for people who have for whatever reason not gotten into Ratchet and Clank, because I feel like Ratchet and Clank has been nothing but really super solid games. So yeah, the Pixelator turns people into these like pixel blobs that then bust apart into a bunch of particles, which is great. Like way better than Knack.
Yeah.
Remember Knack?
I try not to.
Fuck Knack. But yeah, this looks real solid. I think everybody should play this. Near as I can tell, Insomniac has never made a Ratchet and Clank game that was bad.
Yeah.
They made some that were, but none that I would really count as bad.
And I'm looking forward to the movie.
Oh, also, there was something interesting in this trailer where it seemed like, and I can't tell if this was just for the beginning part where they were doing the tutorial, but Captain Quark was like the Bastion narrator, basically talking over top of the action, explaining what Ratchet was doing, but he was being asshole Captain Quark.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, do that for the entire game. I want Captain Quark to be the narrator of this video game. I think that would be fucking fantastic, because Captain Quark is probably one of the greatest asshole characters in all of video game dev.
I will agree with you on that.
All right. So now we are getting into the VR section.
Yeah, and there's really only one thing we should be talking about in the VR section.
What's that?
And that has to be robot golf.
No, we're getting to that. That's the last thing on the list. The first thing was, you remember when I talked about the thing that grinds the entire presentation to a halt? These poor fucking assholes. They were like, they told us there was going to be PlayStation experience, so we had 7 days, and we decided to come up with this prototype of basically like, okay, 2 people with PlayStation VRs on and Move controllers that are in like standing on top of a podium in this Tron room, throwing like discs of Tron at each other, trying to block the discs and throw them back or whatever. Except, oh, you didn't watch this part, did you?
No.
Guy on the left, his controller doesn't work.
Hilarious.
So they spent 5 minutes where this guy on the right just pelts him with and he can't even hit him with the things that they've created. I'm going to say this right now. I hate the fact that every single time that PlayStation VR comes up, they're using Move controllers, because I hate the Move controller. Like, it's just so bleh. Like, use a PlayStation controller that has the light on the front of it, but they're always using the Move controllers. Anyway, this was horrible and just sucked all of the life
fun
out of the room. Also, this guy on the right and the guy that comes on stage after him both start acknowledging the things that people in the audience are screaming at him to do, which is terrible because it just completely derails the entire fucking thing. Anyway, so yes,
I would like a VR Discs of Tron style game.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
That was terrible. This, on the other hand, seems really, really interesting.
Oh yeah,
Rez,
yes.
Rez Infinite, which is going to have VR support. Seems like a really good fit, and I don't know because you don't have a VR headset to do this with, John. I've played a few games over the course of the VR headset where you can use just the look tracking to play the entire game, and it seems like you can do that here.
Yeah.
Which is great because it means it's a really simple and immersive experience.
I don't know if you've actually heard anyone talk about this that actually got to play it at the experience.
No.
They said it's literally it does everything that. Okay, so with VR, in the talks with VR, everyone says that there are certain things you can't do in a video game that it doesn't work for VR.
Right, like what?
Well, just like the way just certain stuff, like the way that you're supposed to do, like the head tracking and the when you change perspectives, like how you do change those perspectives. Like you can't move fast. You don't want the screen to be too busy because it can be disorienting.
Right.
Apparently, this game says fuck that and does everything it says you shouldn't do, and it works 100% and is one of the best experiences at the PlayStation VR experience. Thing the weekend is everything I've been hearing.
Cool.
It's like, you know what? I don't care if I'm buying this game for the third time. I'm fucking buying it because it's amazing.
Yeah. No, it looks really good. It looks like super trippy and super weird, and I hope it comes with some drugs and vibrator.
Apparently, they're also planning on selling a suit that like an actual full body suit that vibrates.
No, that was just a joke that the guy said on stage.
No, like apparently they had it at the floor and like people actually got to use it. But the entire time they were like, "So would you buy?" Like they don't like have a plan for it. They were like, "So would you buy something like this if we offered it?"
Right.
And like the guys at Giant Bomb were talking about it.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, "Yeah." We're like, "Yeah, I'd buy like." And it's like, "How much would you pay for it?" I don't know, about $100. Okay, maybe. Okay. And then they just kind of like, so are you gonna release it? And they're like, I don't know, we're still talking about it
because it costs $1,500.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, that looked cool. Next up, we had these two assholes come out. Who this one asshole? He's been up on stage at PlayStation before. I think he's just such a generic white guy. I don't even remember his name. So we had a few more VR things. The first, like they came and made some really stupid jokes, like just throwback to the 90s when developers had to come up on stage and try to make really lame jokes. That was what we're getting out of these assholes. Like the one guy was like, "Hey, dude, what's your last name if you played in Scrabble?" And he's like, "It's like 260 points." And he's like, "No, it isn't. Names don't work in Scrabble." Ha, 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 ha. And I was just like, "Oh, fuck you. Shut up and show something." And then they did. And it was Ubisoft's Eagle Flight, which doesn't look like a video game, John. It looks like some just experiential crap VR tech demo. Looks boring and silly, but apparently...
How does this tie into Assassin's Creed?
Somehow. It's probably just models from Assassin's Creed that you can fly through, but it's all like simplified and shit. There's also like multiplayer? There's multiple eagles flying that you can fly your eagle. Eagle fly eagle. Oh, it's in Paris. Okay. You need to tell me something, Ubisoft, about what the fuck that is, because if it's just flying an eagle around Paris, I'm
doing sick moves by flying between stuff and windows and
I'll download it for free.
And assassinating people from the sky.
Yeah. And going, "Ah! I'm an eagle." Anyway, but that wasn't even the strangest thing that we saw at the VR experience. Next up, we had the Modern Zombie Taxi Company, which is being made by Sony Santa Monica, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is like the zombie apocalypse has happened. Everybody is now zombies, and you are a zombie cab driver, like Crazy Taxi style, I guess.
But also, like, what is this? Those, like, really, I don't know. Like, there's some driving games where it's just like the physics are just really messed up.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Like, Bear Drives Car Simulator or whatever it was?
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of like, there's a lot of this that is goofy and broken, kind of in the vein of like Surgery Simulator, but with a car. It doesn't look very interesting to me. Like, it just looks like driving a car around and then mayhem. But again, there's part of it that is like, you've got a machine gun on the front of the car taxi for some reason. But a lot of it, I feel like the Sony, I think Sony's going to get this all wrong. I think Sony's going to do. I think the entirety of the Sony VR launch, I feel like it's going to be wrong because I don't feel like they have an understanding of why people want VR, or maybe just why I want VR. Because then they also had a third one that was from Job Simulator. Have you played this before?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have no interest in simulating a job when I already have a job.
No, this is different than that.
I know.
It's like
a
goofy. Okay, well, this is the wrong thing, but it's like a goofy robot trying to tell you how to do stuff.
Yeah,
and then you do it all wrong and try. I mean, I just feel like after Surgery Simulator that we've got a lot of these games that are just like these bad physics games.
Yeah,
that we're supposed to go, ha, look, I've fucked it all up. It's great. That only works a couple of times, and between Goat Simulator and Surgery Simulator, we got it covered.
I Am Bread.
Even I Am Bread was a little much for me. And then I think this might be the last one. Golem, yeah. Oh, no, okay, yeah, there was two, three more. Good God almighty. Anyway, Golem is like, it's got this little girl with her eyes covered, and then like a big monster golem walking around, and it looks kind of like they keep cutting back and forth to kind of make it like a one-to-one, like she's controlling it with her mind. Seems interesting. Again,
yeah, so it's interesting because apparently from what I understand is you are not you are playing as the girl controlling the golem.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like your body movements or head movements are controlling her.
Uh-huh.
And through that is controlling the golem itself.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't really know how that works, but a lot of people have said it's really interesting. But yeah.
I'm going to go back to my common refrain, John. I need to see what the fuck you're supposed to do. This trailer's all good and everything. I'm still waiting for any of these things to be a game and not just like...
Well, apparently this one is.
Okay.
Like, they actually said it's actually one of the few games that seems to have movement with a VR headset.
Yeah.
Like, down to where it works.
Okay.
Like, to where it works in a way that's like, oh my God, I can play anything with this.
Yeah.
So.
All right. And then, second to last but not least, it's time for... what is this thing called again?
100-foot robot golf.
100-foot robot golf, which is exactly what it sounds like. You are a 100-foot tall robot playing golf. This is from the developers of Roundabout, so it's obviously going to be kooky and stupid and silly.
I am excited.
It looks pretty fun. Matt Frank cannot wait.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then there's like... golfing on the moon, from the moon to the earth with your 100-foot robot.
Yes.
And then at the end, there's this weird cutscene where like there's a corgi with the PlayStation VR goggles on, and then they put a giant PlayStation VR headset onto one of the 100-foot robots, and I'm like, all right, whatever, sure, seems like,
yeah.
Sure.
You know what I do like about the whole PlayStation VR thing?
What's that?
Is the fact that in all the videos you can clearly see that in all the demos I've seen, not only are there's the glasses thing, but there's also everything is also exporting to a TV, so that if someone is watching, they can see what you're doing, and it's not done in that weird split. Kind of like how the where it like scrunches the video and like splits it between the two eyes.
Splits it between two eyes.
Well,
and then
this
makes
they
it
like
circle.
it makes it look normal. So
that could just be capture. That could just be capture.
No, it's like I've seen like demos where people are actually playing the game, and then it's also playing what they're doing on the TV as well.
Okay.
So it looks like if you're in a room and you're playing it, it's also going to be on your TV so other people can watch it as well.
Yeah.
In addition to it being in your headset.
I need to go back and look and see if anybody ever developed a series of filters that can just unfuck that stuff, because
I would assume
it's so
does.
hard.
But that kind of stuff would make your job a lot easier.
It would indeed, and hopefully it will indeed. And then finally, they got me weird with this one. I don't know if you watched this particular trailer, John, but like I couldn't tell what the fuck this was. It's like a person. It's Bandai Namco, and I was like, what? It's like a person.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And
I know what this is.
Standing on top of like a giant like base jumping thing, and there's airplane dogfight, which should have given it away for me. And then there's like another airplane, and it's giant, like a bunch of little airplanes come off of it. And this is Ace Combat 7, apparently. that's going to have some kind of VR support for it, which that, I will tell you, is perfect.
Yes.
Because that is where you're playing. VR works great like in a game like Hawken, where you are the driver of another thing, so that the controls that you're using control the thing that you're driving, and then your head is your head inside of that thing.
Yes.
The only thing I don't understand about this trailer is what the base jumping person is all about.
It's it is what
why
it is.
It's a lady.
Ace Combat.
I think it's a lady. She's gonna have
Looks like a lady.
boobs.
Yeah. It does appear to be a lady.
I mean, I like the ship design and everything. I haven't played an Ace Combat game. Like, I've never really gotten into that series.
It's they kind of embraced the weirdness of their games, and then the last one they got away. They went back to it just being like a simulator.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, if this is going back to the crazy stuff, then that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead, and we're almost. Oh boy. We're almost done with the PlayStation 1, so I'm gonna hit the super fast forward button. We're not even gonna watch the video part for this. Destiny getting Sparrow Racing. December. It's already out. Don't care.
Not playing Destiny.
It looks pretty cool. It's free update. Whatevskis. Go play it. Bada bing. Let's see. The developers of Torchlight are making a game called Hob. Did you watch the trailer for that, John?
I did not.
It's a. Let's see if I can't get to it. I think I might have gone a little bit too far.
Like I know I hit the big ones.
Yeah,
like the big trailers, like the one after you're going to talk about after Hob. I know I've seen, but
makers of Torchlight. It's like this top down. Okay, that's the end of the trailer. Let me see if I can. I'm watching one of these like 3-hour long YouTube videos, so it's hard to track anywhere on it. But it's like this kind of like top down, this little androgynous looking robot with like a big or not even a robot. I'm not sure if it's a robot or not. This little character that has like a big robot arm. There's some kind of combat. There's some kind of like moving the world around in different ways. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'll play it when it comes out. And then John, I don't know. Did everybody know this shit was coming?
No.
Okay.
This was actually a surprise.
This is the big surprise.
Or a surprise.
A big surprise. No Kuni 2. What's the subtitle on it? Revenant Kingdom. We see a little boy prince with like cat ears and like a dude from another world, and his kingdom is getting taken over by rat people, and so he's going out into the world. It looks very Miyazaki, like all the stuff is very much in the same frame as kind of the first one. What I like about it, though, and I can't. Oh God, I hope that they don't fuck me. What was your take on? What did you think about the first Ni no Kuni?
I actually never played it.
Okay, here's my thing, John. Ni no Kuni started with this just ponderously long sequence of your character as a kid. Mom dies. Like friends finding the portals into this other world, and then you finally get to this other world. And then when you get to the other world, I lost interest almost immediately.
Really?
Because you have this sidekick named Drippy, who is fucking got a big nose, and I thought he was stupid. The combat just didn't do anything for me. And the main antagonist of the game was literally their plan was they were bumming people out. Like, they go up to people, and they'd be like, touch them, and then they would be all bummed out because they took one of their emotions. So you actually had this whole mechanic where you had to like find, like, I took all of John's happy, right? So now you're just like,
I'm sad.
You're not sad. You're more just like, I have no happiness. So then I would have to go and be like, Grant, you have an abundance of happiness. And be like, I'm Grant, I'm too happy. And be like, so I'm going to take some of your happiness and then put it into John and normalize everybody.
I feel like taking off my shirt.
There you go. And it was kind of like, really? Is this what I'm doing? And I got old Drippy here with me. Dude, fuck this game. Yeah, so I didn't really care for Ni no Kuni. I wanted to like it, but I didn't care for it. This looks a little bit more just kind of like Fantasy Kingdom RPG type of stuff. If that's the case, I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. It looks beautiful, just like the previous one did.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And it looks better than the last one did. It's less stiff than the last one was. So, yeah, here's hoping that ends up being good and not having a lot of irritating sidekicks. And last but certainly not least, Epic is making a MOBA called Paragon. And they had a cinematic trailer, and then they had a gameplay trailer. And the cinematic trailer was... I almost feel like why even talk about it? It was just a cinematic trailer. Like, it showed off some of the character designs, and they were pretty cool. It looks like your 5-on-5 with creeps. It actually, you know what it reminded me a lot of was Smite, except way better looking than Smite.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
When they get to the actual, for some reason, this part of this video just doesn't play for me at all. But when they get to the actual part of the gameplay, did you watch that?
Yes.
Okay. It looked really good. Like real solid. Kind of makes that not Overwatch. What was Battleborn? I can't remember it for fucking 20 minutes. Battleborn. Like, I'd much rather play something that looks like this than Battleborn. So here is the actual gameplay. We haven't seen, or I don't know how many games are out right now that are using UE4, but boy, UE4 has some nice lighting and texture, and particle effects and stuff like that. It's really, really good looking. I also really like the way this guy with the shield, his shield does 3 or 4 different things, which is really interesting. I think this looks really, really cool, and I hope to get a chance to play it.
Yeah, it looks fun.
So, and that was all from the PlayStation keynote. Now, I'm calling it, John. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we're not going to do any questions this week. I'm sorry to everybody who sent in questions, but we have too much. This is like an E3 one, right? So we still have to go over every single trailer and announcement from the Video Game Awards. And then we've got the rest of the news that happened this week. So
lots of stuff to talk about.
Cheesy Pete's. We are going to take a break, and we'll be right back with the Video Game Awards. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. And it's time for the next big thing, which was the Video Game Awards.
Which was technically the previous big thing because it actually happened first.
Okay, shut up, John. Enough of your logic. Enough of your reasonable sounding tones. This is not for reason or...
Do you want me to get rid of my reasonable sounding tones?
No, that's
because I can talk like this the entire rest of the podcast.
No, I might have to hit you with something if you do that. All right, so the Video Game Award. Now that's my job. You're stepping on my thing. Hey, we're back. Anyway, so there's a shit ton of trailers that came out in here, but before we get to that, I actually don't really give a fuck about all the stuff that won. Witcher 3 won Game of the Year, whatever. A bunch of other stuff run. I
Who didn't see that coming?
Hard time, but well, I don't know. After they gave it to Walking Dead that one year, I wasn't surprised that they didn't give it to Life is Strange. Just be like, look how progressive we are. Anyway, not to say Life is Strange is a bad game or anything, but obviously The Witcher 3 is fucking huge. But before we actually get into all the trailers and stuff, the one thing that actually did come up at the Video Game Awards that is really worth talking about is that apparently Konami, I don't know I don't know who's running Konami. At this point, it might just be like a snidely whiplash, big black bent top hat twirling a mustache, because apparently Kojima is still under contract by Konami.
I think he's under contract for at least a couple of more weeks. If I remember correctly, it was a date in the teens or something like that.
Post-release, type stuff. His contract just didn't cut off immediately. And apparently, Konami was like, "Hey, we're not going to give you a visa or whatever the legal paperwork is that you need to come over to perhaps accept an award for Metal Gear Solid 5, which is." Just garbage. Just the worst amount of garbage. I mean, I know there's political infighting and stuff like that in the video game industry, but fuck's sake, man. Kojima has done more for Konami over the years than just about anybody else.
What's he going to do? Walk out and be like, well, Konami's fucked.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of fucking losers.
But you know what? I was actually what I thought was more interesting than that was the fact that fucking Keighley came out to call them out in the middle of the show and just was like, shame the fuck on you, Konami. You've got one of the icons of the video game industry, and you're going to play fucking backroom politic horse shit and not let the guy come and accept an award. Because Metal Gear Solid 5 won Best Score, which is...
I think it also won Best, Kiefer Sutherland like best character or something like that.
Okay. But apparently Kiefer Sutherland was there. I didn't actually watch them. I didn't even go back and watch them. I watched the trailers
Neither
from
did
them.
I didn't
because I'm not really. I don't fucking care. But that, I mean, let's just take a moment to say that like that is going to give me the types of, not even just because it's Kojima, right? Like if they wouldn't have let fucking Ken Levine come for BioShock or something, right? Or like any of that internal game development horse shit, just like it just feels shitty and wrong and bad.
Yeah. It also feels like they're worried that he's going to go on live TV and say something that they don't want him to say, even though I'm pretty confident. You're pretty confident. I'm pretty sure everyone is pretty confident. Kojima's a solid dude from what we know of him.
Well, it seems like if he was going to slag off Konami, he would have done it by now. Or I don't know, maybe he's waiting for the day when his employment runs out and then it's just tell-all book time, right? But, like, fuck, man, I just can't think of a way to make me personally dislike Konami more than to be like, this is the last game from this guy that's been making games for us for years that have been just like, Metal Gear's hung on longer than any other goddamn Konami franchise. Yeah. And to snub the guy like that is just, it's just bad. It just doesn't leave a good taste in one's mouth. All right, so fuck you, Konami, and let's go ahead and go over the trailers that we saw. And I don't actually have all of these queued up, so we'll have to use our imagination. First up, the Mortal Kombat Combat Pack 2.
Yes.
Which was a real fun trailer because it had a drunken Boraicho stumbling out from underneath like a bar table, and it had like apparently some terrible fool in the Mortal Kombat universe has decided to take Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke and rebuild them into one robot that changes colors, that has all their powers or whatever. Triborg. What a horrible, awesome name is. Like,
that is the Mortal Kombat way, sir.
Yes, I can just see it on the front of a box of like a 90s robot slasher movie, like, who can stop the menace of Triborg? Like I can actually see that on as a Mystery Science Theater movie or something like that.
No, it probably is.
But then the last two, I'm saving the best for last, but we had, who's the bee lady? I can't remember her fucking name.
Remember her name.
Fighting Baraka, and then Baraka's like, broop, 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 and like a fucking xenomorph just out of his chest. And so we actually have a Baraka's race xenomorph.
Yes.
That has, does it have arm blades?
Yes.
I remember seeing that?
Yes, it does.
Which is like, all right, that sounds, I mean, I think I maybe would have preferred just a generic one. I actually would have preferred if Johnny Cage's chest burst open and the xenomorph had like Cage, like in chitin written across its chest, like that's what it got.
That'll be an alternate skin, probably.
That would have been fucking awesome. But then the best of all time was, what was it, like Quan Chi and Ermac are walking through the forest, and then just fucking Leatherface comes running out with his dumb, doing his kind of dumb little Leatherface jig with a chainsaw, and Leatherface. So that actually seems like an interesting, like, I kind of wish that instead of just putting them in as character packs, or I don't know if they're doing this, I could be totally wrong, that they were putting in like DLC storylines for them within the packs. Oh man, that would be great if it was like a whole, not even just like an intro, but like a whole campaign with Leatherface, right?
Now, I mean, it is interesting. You can play as those, and obviously, when before the fight starts, there's like a little interaction, like they'll say stuff, and
right?
Like that stuff is still there, but. But yeah, there's no like actual like story mode or anything for it.
I keep forgetting that Mortal Kombat came out this year.
Yeah, it was a really good game.
It was a real fun game, real solid. I
need to get back to it.
Yeah, I need to go back and see about some of the DLC that they've had it. Next up, there was a trailer for Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. This may not be in chronological order. It's just the order that I brought them up in. Which is the next game. We actually saw like some concept art teasing for this, I believe, earlier this year.
This was the guy who
founder,
Gone Home.
Yeah, the guy that founded the Fulbright company, and made Gone Home kind of single-handedly. I forget his name. Sorry, man. If you're listening, I don't know why you would be, but we're listening to this. But that's weird.
He could be a fan. You never know.
Apparently, the Fulbright company, though, they're making that Tacoma, right?
Yeah.
So that seems weird that he like founded this company, made this game, they started up Tacoma, and now he's left to make another game with another company all on his own.
Yeah.
In this game, there wasn't a lot to the trailer. There wasn't any like gameplay in the trailer. But did you watch it?
Yeah. It's very stylish, almost painterly.
Mm-hmm, super stylish. Like this train
looked cool.
Yeah, that had like this kind of colored pencil animation coming off of it. And this guy's coming off the train. He's walking up to this old man sitting at a fire who then turns into a bird and throws a Yu-Gi-Oh card at him or something.
Those are tarot cards.
Oh, okay.
He holds up the Hanged Man, which is a tarot card.
Okay. It's been a long day of watching a lot of shit.
I understand.
Apparently, like when I went out and looked a little bit into it, it said this is going to be a story about surviving the Manifest Destiny and the expansion of the United States.
It's going to turn out that Birdman is gay.
Is that it?
I don't know.
Why? Okay.
Gone home.
Oh, okay.
God damn it.
God damn it. I need more coffee, John.
I'm gonna have to step up my game. You can't even get my references now.
That's right.
And they're
right.
obvious.
That's right, man. I think I'm recording with Joe here. Well, so there was that. Then there was the DLC for Rise of the Tomb Raider, Baba Yaga, the Temple of the Witch, which I haven't even gotten a chance to go and play through Rise of the Tomb Raider yet.
I haven't played it at all.
I've got it sitting up there right on top of my Xbox One that hasn't moved in days.
I planned once I got done with Fallout 4, I was going to ask you if I could borrow it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to loan it to you as soon as I'm done with Fallout 4. Dude, I say this all the time. I'm repeating this ad nauseum. I wish that the fucking video game industry would have a goddamn sense of timing, because if this shit had been just a little bit spaced out, I could have been playing these. I mean, like I like Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah,
it's a little stiff, but I like it. We were playing at Dojo, and there was a big character reveal where I was just like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." I'm right on the verge of getting the mechs in it, but. Yakuza 5. I would love to sit down and play. I like the Yakuza series.
Yeah.
What time? I haven't finished Fallout 4. I haven't finished The Witcher goddamn... which is my fault because I've had plenty of time to finish Witcher 3, but...
You have.
But, like, there's just so many games coming out, like, bam, 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 bam. I feel bad for Tomb Raider. I feel like it just got snowed in with
Fallout 4,
Star Wars, Black Ops, Xenoblade Chronicles, depending on what system you have. There's been a bunch of shit. The DLC for Bloodborne, Siren, Maiden of the Black Water. Like, there's just been a shit ton of things to play that are not Tomb Raider. But this was an interesting trailer. Did you watch it?
I actually did not watch this one.
So, it seems like it's going to be like some trippiness. There's just like going into this cave, and it's got all these like plants, and there's these spores.
Yeah.
And then she's seeing her dad, and it's like, what? And then you see for those of you who don't know, the Baba Yaga, she has a house with chicken feet that walks around that's totally in that trailer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, there's one part towards the end where it's like Lara Croft standing on a rock, and it's like she's squaring off against the chicken house because the chicken house is like getting up in her face.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, cool. I
want to play this.
I like the Baba Yaga. She's crazy.
Baba Yaga's awesome.
But so looks great. Wish they would have waited till there's nothing in January. They could have waited till January to put it out. Or wait, maybe it is coming out in January. I don't actually have the release date here. All right, next up, Goat Simulator, Super Secret DLC. Did you see this trailer?
Apparently not. Apparently there's a lot of trailers that I apparently missed. I thought I caught all of them and didn't watch the Rise of the Tomb Raider one because I haven't played the game yet.
Right.
But
okay.
Yeah, apparently I did not see this one.
So this trailer was incredible.
Yeah?
It was probably the best trailer out of every single thing that I've seen, because it was like a diner, and there's this flamingo, and he's talking about DLC. And it took me a while to understand. He's talking about the DLC with a camel and like another goat and like a dolphin in a wheelchair. And it took me a moment to understand that they recreated the diner scene from the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, but the flamingo is playing Steve Buscemi, but he's talking about DLC.
Oh, Mr. Pink, Flamingo.
Right.
Oh, I get it.
And right.
I haven't even watched the trailer, and I get that reference, Jeff.
It's so fucking awesome, because he's like, no, I'm not going to buy the DLC. Look, I look at it this way. I already bought the main game. I may buy the DLC, but I'm not obligated to buy it. If it's really good, maybe I'll get it. They're just like, what? And then the goat from Goat Simulator comes walking up, and he's like, "Who's not gonna buy the DLC?" And he goes like, "Flamingo's not gonna buy the DLC." It's like, "Buy the fuck! You bought the game on a Steam sale for $2.50. Put in $1 and buy the DLC." And he's like, "All right, I'll do it, but only because I respect you." So it's literally the scene, and then they come walking out like the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, and it's literally the camel, bigger goat, dolphin in a wheelchair, flamingo, and the goat from Goat Simulator, and they've got like the kind of, they can't actually use the music, the little green bag or whatever it is.
So they have a reasonable facsimile.
They have a reasonable facsimile. They have the title kind of comes up in front of it, and then they show all 4 of them or 5 of them walking out into a street where all the Goat Simulator stuff. And the funny thing is that when they're walking, it took me a minute to notice this, but they all have a tongue sticking out of their mouth. Like the flamingo even has like this giant weird tongue just hanging out of the side of his mouth. But no, when we get done recording this, you have to watch this trailer.
Oh, okay, yeah,
it's fucking amazing. And
awesome.
I don't know if there was any actual release date for this, but I want to play it because there's a dolphin in a wheelchair. Like it's just a dolphin like shoved into a wheelchair with the tongue hanging out like sunglasses on. Is one of apparently the new characters for Goat Simulator. Like, you know what, Goat Simulator? I keep wanting to write you off, but you've done a lot of fun stuff.
You keep bringing me back in.
And it was like, I mean, when Goat Simulator was new, it was like $10, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I played more Goat Simulator than I am Bread or, well, not Surgery. I actually got pretty good at Surgery Simulator.
Yeah, I know on Xbox One, I think it's $15, and you get Goat Simulator, Goat MMO Simulator,
and then the other one,
the zombie whatever.
Oh, right. Goat Z.
Yeah, Goat Z.
Yeah.
Like you get all of that content for like $15, I think. I don't know.
But yeah, that even if you don't like Goat Simulator, I still highly recommend you go watch this trailer. It was freaking incredible. There was an Uncharted 4 simulator.
Simulator?
A trailer. Sorry. Starting to get, it's too warm in here. I need to.
It is very warm in here.
Air conditioning, but like today I was walking my dog. It was like 70 degrees. I had my T-shirt on. I was just like, why?
Wish it would make up its goddamn mind.
Yeah, be cold already, or like global warming or something. I don't know. This Uncharted 4 trailer mostly was composed of shots from previous Uncharted 4
trailers.
Except at the very beginning, Drake had an interaction with this woman, Nadine Ross, who is apparently kind of like the main hench lady for the main villain. Who did you watch the trailer?
Yes, I
where
did
she
watch
stops
this.
him and
kind of beats the shit out of him
and kind of punches him a little bit, and then they just kind of go into this big montage. I was actually really stricken by. She has curly hair, and it looked really good.
Yeah,
which
it really did.
Is hard to do in video games apparently for whatever reason. But other than that, there's not a lot. I mean, in all honesty, it might have been more impressive had they not had the PlayStation experience, not had that other giant.
Well, mind you, people saw this before they saw.
Yes, I know.
They saw that.
I know. The
so
chronology.
It was impressive.
Was it?
You know, and then they saw the other thing and went, "Oh, well, this is more impressive."
More impressive. All right, next up, Telltale Batman announcement.
Whatever.
I got a note here. It says Yawnsville. Yeah, the trailer itself was nothing but like
ink splotches.
Yeah, turning into like guns and Bruce Wayne, and there's like a bunch of radio behind it about Gotham.
Am I the only one who's like kind of just over Batman? Like who's just so far past like just being done with Batman that I just don't care.
See, I'm over Telltale.
I'm over Telltale as well. I'm tired of them making announcements of shit and then that shit not coming out for like 5 years. They have
that happen very often?
They've announced a shit ton of stuff that's not supposed to come out for another 2 years.
Oh.
Like they announced a whole slew of Marvel licensing games that aren't supposed to start coming out until 2017.
Oh shit!
It's just like it feels like every other week they're announcing a new license that they've acquired and that they're going to be released. Like, oh, we've got the license of this, so we're going to release a game. It's like, okay, finish the shit that you have first before you go announcing more.
Yeah. I honestly just like here's the things I will say about about assumptions that can be made because we don't know anything, right?
No, we don't.
Okay, here we go. One, I don't think that the Telltale look would lend itself very well to Batman. Maybe it will. Two, the action in Telltale games is consistently not the best part. It's just glorified quick time events. So that means that, and this is not going to be an action game, but it's going to be a talkie game like Telltale does. That seems like a real weird place for Batman. Like, most of the rest of the things that they've done over the last couple of years are very talky franchises. Game of Thrones, right? It's very much just yap, 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 and political intrigue and yap, yap, yap. The Minecraft one, okay, can be whatever. We've all played Minecraft.
But it's very talky.
But it's very talky. Wolf Among Us. Big B Wolf is an investigator, right?
That's what people are theorizing, is this is going to be more of a detective story than a flap in the night and go, be Darkwing Duck or whatever.
Maybe. I guess I want to see. I kind of want to see what their take on Batman.
I already see what the dialogue choices are going to be.
Yeah.
One, I'm Batman. The next, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
The next, I'm Batman.
And
then the final one, I'm Batman.
The fourth one is my parents are dead. I want a Mass Effect style Renegade interrupt that can happen at any time where he just slaps whoever he's talking to and says, "My parents are dead." No, it's all right, Archer. My parents aren't dead. No, it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, show me something. This is the worst kind of teaser in my opinion because it doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh wait, Bruce Wayne, is that the same guy who's Batman? Batman is Bruce Wayne. Oh, his parents got killed? I've never heard that before, except every single time. Do you want to put down money? You want to make a little side bet? Are they going to go through Batman origin story in Dawn of Justice? They've got to, right? Because
probably not.
Filmmakers don't understand that you can just be like, Batman, and we'll all be like, oh, right, Batman. Yeah, parents got killed.
No, I think they're going to ignore the origin story.
You think so?
I mean, we might get it referenced like in slight passing.
Yeah.
Like, Alfred may look at him and be like, sir, when your parents died and I took you in.
Right.
I didn't expect this was the life that you would choose.
I think they'll have to at least...
Because according to this Batman has been operating for years. Like, that's like Zack Snyder came out and said, in this movie, Batman has been around for has not just shown up.
Well, I'd be willing to bet that they're at least going to have to do Michael Keaton flashback, like in the Tim Burton.
I could see that.
All right, next up, Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn.
Yeah.
Also, Yawnsville.
Yeah, I don't
like. It was this weird.
I mean, it was a Kickstarter,
right?
It was originally a Kickstarter. It got its funding, so it's going to come out.
There was this whole beginning part about raising like the Ultimate Warrior, and then it's like they open up
and it's Shaq,
and it's like, wait, this baby doesn't look Chinese, and it's like, what? Like, I almost feel like the developers of Shaq Fu think that we're all way more enamored with Shaq Fu than we all actually are.
Well, if they thought we were way more enamored with Shaq Fu than we actually are, they would know that changing the canon, completely rebranding the story and changing everything about it is not what we want. Because in the original, Shaq is Shaq.
Yeah.
He just gets transported to a mystical world of Kung Fu.
Right.
And has to fight his way to survive. And luckily, Shaq knows Kung Fu. Better yet, he knows Shaq Fu.
Okay. You know way more about Shaq Fu than I do, John.
I played that game. It was terrible.
The actual gameplay that they showed looked real.
Yeah, it's also not a fighting game. It's like a side-scrolling brawler.
Adventure. Yeah. So, all right, whatever. Far Cry Primal. So here's an answer to a question that you and I had. It looks like they're still talking caveman language, but they have subtitles now. Remember the first trailer where it was just like, caveman, 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 caveman. It was just like, I don't understand what these guys are saying. Apparently, the big thing here. Okay, actually, I want to just back up for a second.
Back up.
After this trailer, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I think this game looks good. I don't think it should be called Far Cry.
Yeah,
because it doesn't seem to have anything in common outside of being a first-person game with any of the previous Far Cry games. I mean, maybe,
But what you don't know is the other caveman, the one who's the villain of the whole thing, he keeps asking the main character, do you know what the definition of insanity is?
Oh, okay.
But it's in that primal
caveman language.
Caveman version of it. So, and
Pagan Min was a much better villain than Voss. I love that guy, even though he's crazy. But Apparently, the big thing here is that you can tame beasts.
They should have just gotten the rights to Beastmaster.
That's what I'm saying. Should have just been Beastmaster. But apparently, you can get what it looks like. What do we see? Wolves, cats, bears, birds, and then you can like have them attack like they're your posse or your minions, like Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah.
You can just be like, "Caw," and then your guy goes, "Rawr," or the cat goes, "Wow." It's been a while since I've listened to that song. I don't know what the cat says anymore. So, but then outside of that, everything that we're seeing is torches, spears, bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't entirely understand unless they're going to lean, again, as I keep saying this, unless they're going to be leaning further and further into magic, how you're going to... I mean, fucking Far Cry 4 had, like, trucks and wingsuits and flare guns and rocket launchers and machine guns and all kinds of crazy shit, right? Like,
here's what I want to know.
dude is riding a tiger at the end. That's pretty cool, but other than
Here's what I want to know.
All right.
How are we going to be climbing up towers to
Yeah.
reveal the map? That's what I need to know, because that's an integral part of not just Far Cry, but every Ubisoft game in existence. So if there aren't towers that I've got to climb, then I'm going to call shenanigans.
You mean like a good 4.5, 5 hours worth of just busy work to unlock the map?
Yes.
So that you can get access to the racing missions.
Put that shit in their fucking racing game.
What I want it to be is that you're going to start playing that game, and halfway through it turns out that you're actually just tripping on the shrooms that those drug dudes in Far Cry 4 gave you, and they're just like, "Come on, mate, wake up! You're not actually a caveman."
Sounds like it's the twist from The Village.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It seems like an interesting game. I just don't think that it should be a Far Cry game. Because Far Cry as a game, like if you go back to Far Cry 1, there's like, stealth, and then there's guns, and then there's like, traversal stuff. In 3, you had like hang gliders, and 4, you had the wingsuit. There's climbing around. I mean, I guess he could make himself like a wingsuit out of like pterodactyl wings. I don't know.
Are there dinosaurs?
No. Bear pelt something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's just not. I mean, I would have been much more excited if they were making Blood Dragon 2 a full 14-hour Blood Dragon game instead of this.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Etc. We had a trailer for Quantum Break.
Yeah!
Which didn't really say a lot.
No, it didn't. Still excited for that game, though.
Just as what was that, Mary or Pippin? Which one is it? Who the main guy is?
Oh, Dominic No.
Monaghan?
No, he's not. He's not actually the main character. He's
he's the main character's brother, right?
Yeah, he's the main character's
brother. He's
brother.
like the main character in the TV series, but not in the... Or no, the TV series is about the villains, and the game is about the heroes.
He's kind of like barely in the game.
Okay. I mean, they had a whole thing. Like
the main character is Sean Ashmore, a.k.a. Iceman from the X-Men movies.
Oh, right. I mean, the graphics all look really good.
Looks really good.
The trailer was like him talking about, like, do you want me to tell you about when we broke time? Do you want me to tell you about how everything went wrong? And I was just like, yes, please, tell me something about it, please. I mean, that E3 trailer was actually a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of had a whole lot more stuff going on. This was just like, I'm sure it was all in-engine, but it was just another one of these trailers that is just a bunch of cool cutscenes stitched together. So...
Yeah, and it's going to have its own interwoven TV show, which I think I think they've changed how that TV show is going to be integrated like so many times that it's not the same thing that they originally said.
Right.
Because they said it was like, it's a separate TV show that you can watch separately, and you don't have to play the game to watch the show, but it makes, and stuff makes more sense.
Right.
And now it's very much like, no. It's like there's a branching storyline, and you can do stuff, and there are live action sequences that don't happen because you did something different.
So they're actually gonna go the whole way of like making me watch an episode of a TV show.
Yeah, you basically play
missions of the game.
Correct. But the episodes are like 15 to 20 minutes long.
See, I don't want to do that. I just want to play video games. Anyway, it's fine. Next up, Rock Band VR.
I don't know how to respond to this one.
My notes just say LOL what? I
thought the trailer was funny.
So, okay, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, apparently Harmonix and Oculus are teaming up to make a version of Rock Band where you put on the Oculus headset and you're standing on stage with an audience out in front of you playing your plastic guitar.
or your drum set, or have a microphone.
Oh, it work for any of them?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it would be.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it is just guitar. I don't know.
I didn't watch the whole announcement. I just watched the actual.
Well, no, it
trailer
didn't
footage.
really say. It only focused on the guitar, but I would assume it also has the ability to do it for drums and
Okay.
and the vocals and shit.
So you were explaining to me that apparently the way that it's going to work is that you're actually going to have to look at the neck of your virtual guitar, and the buttons are going to light up in the sequence that you're supposed to be hitting them.
Something like that. At least that's what it looked like in the trailer.
Which to me seems incredibly counterproductive, because why have this whole like, I'm in a band, I'm on the stage, yeah, if I'm going to spend the entire time looking at my left hand to be like, all right, boop, 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 boop. I mean, it seems like you have to have some kind of they might.
It might have just been done like that for the presentation of the thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm curious. That's a good question.
Seems like a real weird idea.
It is.
It seems like a very, very strange idea.
I definitely agree. But you know what?
What's that?
Let them do it.
Yep.
If it ends up being cool, great. If it ends up being shit, which there's a good chance of it, whatever.
So another thing just occurred to me, John?
What's that?
What the fuck platform is this going to be on?
PC?
There isn't a Rock Band 4 for the PC.
Nope. This is a completely new game called Rock Band VR.
And you're going to buy a new guitar for it?
I don't know.
I've already got two
You
guitars.
can hook up an Xbox 360 guitar or a Bluetooth PS4 guitar to a PC.
Yeah, I guess you can. I don't have a Bluetooth in my PC to sync it to. Anyway, odd. Also strange. I
think it also
understand
works wired.
what the fuck they're doing with that. Anyway, next up, they're apparently putting out a DLC Walking Dead, Telltale Walking Dead. I probably should connect this back when we were talking about Batman, that focuses only on Michonne.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about her, and I don't watch the show, so I can't really say anything. But apparently in, February or something, it's going to be a 3 episode. It's probably going to be like the 400 days or 100 days or whatever that was, where it's just a mini campaign.
I don't care about Walking Dead anymore. I stopped caring right around the first season of the TV show.
Okay. Great. Well, it looks like you and I are in agreement. Here's to not caring about...
and that even goes
Walking
for the
Dead.
comic and everything. I'm kind of I'm done with this.
Okay.
It's not bad. I didn't go man, this is terrible, I'm going to not read it. It was just I just realized I got to a point in my life where I was just I don't want to read this anymore because it's just a bunch of terrible shit happening to people. Some of those
misery
people,
porn.
Yeah, it's nothing but fucking misery, and I don't need that.
Mm-hmm. I wholeheartedly agree. Or actually, my whole thing is that I'm waiting for the show to be over before I start watching it, so that I can't get spoiled.
Well, they've already gone off in their own world, so you're not gonna.
No. I mean, just on a week-to-week basis.
Oh,
if I wait until the whole show is over, I don't have enough interest in it. It's kind of like American Horror Story to me. I don't have enough interest to watch it on a week-to-week basis, so I'm just going to wait for the entire series to be over, and then I can just sit down and go through the entire thing.
Okay, all right.
Halo 5 Guardians is getting a whole bunch of new shit.
And yeah,
including Warzone maps, which is good because they need some more Warzone maps.
Yeah.
One was in the middle of a city street. Looked pretty cool. New weapons, new armors, new things to unlock. Good on you, Halo 5.
And all of it's going to be free.
All of it free. Yep.
Which I think is the most important thing there.
Yep.
You mentioned it twice in your little list there.
Yep. Free. All free. Free. Did you see the Star Citizen trailer that they put out?
Which one?
On the VGAs.
I think I may have.
It's got some some EVA and some ship stuff, and then some kind of first person. It goes on entirely too long at 2 minutes because it's just kind of like Star Citizen porno. But for the Alpha 2.0 gameplay trailer, it looks really, really solid. If all this comes off and ends up being what it looks like it's supposed to be, could be the game we've been waiting for the last decade.
Yeah.
Fly around and then get out of your ship and then have a gunfight and then get back on your ship and then do your thing. And we spent a lot of time on the podcast somehow slagging off Star Citizen, so I want to make sure that when Star Citizen does something that looks pretty cool, I'll be like, that looks pretty cool right there.
It's a big-ass ship.
On the other hand, there was something that was a little bit strange to me, John.
Yeah.
There was a few places during this trailer where the frame rate seemed to go to garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you do that in your own trailer? But other than that, looks real solid. I don't
Yeah.
know why the ships all have lasers, but everybody else has like a machine gun. But
Because science.
science. So yeah. If you're, I guess I kind of want to get access to the alpha and see what's going on. Alpha's supposed to be. Is Alpha supposed to be feature complete? I think Alpha's supposed to be feature complete. Right?
I have no idea.
Anyway, it's a good trailer. A lot of stuff blowing up.
People dying.
People dying.
Lots of shots of butts.
Walking in space. Flying in space. Shooting in space. Space. So
People's butts.
people's butts in space. And let's see. What other announcements haven't I think that was pretty much all of it, except for we already talked about Rocket League coming to the Xbox One.
Did we?
Or I don't know. I think I might have mentioned it on a live stream or something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I mean, Rocket League's coming to Xbox One. It has exclusive cars, and it's not going to be cross-platform compatible. So, in other words,
Oh, really?
No, it's gonna. Yeah, you can only play it with people who are on Xbox. You cannot play it with people who are on Steam or people who are on PS4.
interesting. I wonder if that's Microsoft.
I think it's. I think it's either Microsoft or it's Sony.
Oh, okay. Apparently, there are going to be some Gears of War themed cars and some Halo cars.
Well, it's
in there,
one
but
Gears of War car and one Halo.
one
car.
Halo car. Okay.
It's the Warthog for Halo, and it's the car that they drive at one point in one of the Gears games.
Okay.
The one with the thing with the bats.
Oh, right. In the first one where you
Yeah,
have the light turn on.
It's that vehicle.
Yep. Okay.
And then a bunch of skins and stuff for it.
And that was the Video Game Awards. So,
Yeah.
holy shit. That's we only have 30 minutes left, and like I said, there was still other things that happened this
Let's do
week.
this.
So, strap in, folks. Like I said, no
news item left behind.
no news item left behind, no emails this week.
Okay, sorry.
That's what I was trying to say.
I misunderstood. I jumped the gun.
That's fine. Maybe next week we'll do like I don't know. The video game industry doesn't appear to be slowing down when they're supposed to be slowing down. So maybe next week will be full of news. Maybe we'll do a whole email show next week. All right. So guess what's getting a sequel, John? You know, because you're looking at the TV where I have the news story up.
Is it Metal Gear?
No, it's not Metal Gear.
Oh. Is
it's-
it Beyond Good and Evil?
No, you're looking right at it.
Oh.
You're literally staring at
Is it the Jessica Jones TV series?
No, as near as I could tell.
I am looking at the screen. These are all
Yes.
things that everything I've mentioned is a thing that is on your screen.
Yes, this is true. System Shock 3 is a
Shocking.
scant few days. We don't have any information yet. By the time that this comes out, there's probably going to be more information. 3 days from now, which will
Pathetic
be
creature of
1,
meat
2,
and
3.
bone. You think you can hack me?
Yep. So System Shock 3 is there's going to be a Kickstarter. Or no. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is being worked on by Other Side Entertainment, who is currently working on that Underworld game that got Underworld Ascendant Kickstarter game. And then Other Side was actually founded by Paul Neurath, who was one of the co-founders of Looking Glass Studios back in the day.
Yeah.
So that's always good news. I think it's interesting to see, or it's going to be interesting to know. You remember we were talking about that company, Night Dive, that
Yeah.
did the re-release of System Shock that apparently had the rights for it.
Yeah.
About how this all fits together. I go for a new System Shock.
Yeah.
I like System Shock.
Yeah, sure.
I never finished System Shock 2, I don't think.
I never played System Shock 2.
But yeah, I like Shodan. She's GLaDOS classic, right?
Yeah.
GLaDOS, but a lot less nice.
She's the OG.
That's right. She's just
Less polite.
yes, hardcore computer bitch. So anyway, next up.
Less singing, too.
All right, so here's where we come back to Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, Square.
Here's where we come back to Final Fantasy
Square and your I'm going to sneak this information under the radar.
So, all right. They announced they're going to remake Final Fantasy VII after everybody asked if they're remaking Final Fantasy VII. Then we got the trailer and we saw that it's Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy VII like we talked about in the first part. Then there was a little announcement where they said, hey, by the way, this is going to be episodic, kind of, or released in pieces.
Yeah, so they weren't really clear. Like, it could be episodic, like like you would think of an episodic thing.
Yeah.
Or it could be episodic or broken into pieces, much like Final Fantasy 13.
They said,
13,
here's
2.
a quote, Final Fantasy VII Remake will be told across a multi-part series with each entry providing its own unique experience. Now, to me, I don't know. Yeah, surely they're not going to expect us. Oh boy, it just occurred to me. They wouldn't actually do that, would they? Make Final Fantasy VII 1, 2, and 3, and then expect you to pay $60 for each one of those?
Don't know. If they were smart, I mean, if they didn't want to piss fans off, what they would do is they would release three games.
Right.
Because if you remember correctly, the PS1 version, it was 3 discs.
Right.
So release it into 3 games.
Okay.
And each one's $20.
Hey, I can see that.
And then if you were to buy all 3 of them, it's $60.
Right.
Like
okay.
that's the smart way to release that.
Right.
I don't think that's how it's going to be released.
I don't think that's going to be how it's going to be released either. Last week I was actually sitting with our news guys down at my local bar, just bemoaning the Japanese game industry and how they operate. It's like, wait, what? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Well, because if they were to translate the game as accurately as they want to,
right.
but by changing things,
right.
So that it reveals on the current generation of console, so that it
right.
takes full advantage of it,
right.
it would be too big of a game.
Right.
It would just be too big
right.
and unwieldy, and no one would want to play it,
yeah.
and it would cause your PlayStation to explode.
We all fucking hate those big games. Actually, I've been saying that for the last 3 or 4 months, but anyway.
I also feel like this is another way for them to speed up getting the game out. Going, here's the first 15 minutes of the last game that we've expanded into 20 hours.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's like what is this? This Game Informer article makes an interesting comparison, saying that it'll be more like the Lord of the Rings movies than like The Walking Dead, right? That it's going to be more like 3 full games and not like a 4-hour chunk, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna bet it's gonna be 3 like full. Like you're gonna get 40 hours probably in each game.
Yeah, which is not bad. It's just that like it's so different than my expectation was. I guess when they first announced this, of just like, they're really going to a lot of trouble to change it up and do things differently, and I don't know.
All I know is I had this mental image of it's going to have like Final Fantasy 7 1,
right.
Final Fantasy 7 2, which is continuing the story,
right.
and then it's going to say enter Final Fantasy 3 snowboard, and then like you put it in, it's just the snowboarding level, and then once you get done with that, it's like okay, insert start playing Final Fantasy 7 Part 4,
right. I mean, yeah, you could totally do that. In fact, that might not be a bad way. It as much as I don't like it, because like a Telltale game, right, will be like an 8 to 12 hour game.
Yeah,
that's broken up into these 2-hour segments over the course of a season. If you took something that was like The Witcher 3, that was like or Fallout 4, that was like a several 100-hour RPG, and then gave it to me $20 at a time in like 15-hour increments, that might work, because it'd be like, all right, I'm going to sprint from here to here. This is me personally, the way that I play games, is that I'd have probably an easier time playing one 15-hour game and then 2 or 3 months down the line playing another 15-hour game, and 2 or 3 months down the line playing another 15-hour game than I would, say, with like The Witcher or Fallout, where it's like, here's a 200-hour game that you're expected to play from start to finish. And, well, that I put the expectation on myself to play from start to finish.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to say I don't even think we're going to get like a month later. I think it's, or a couple of months later, I think it's going to be 1 year, here's this game that's like 15 hours or more. And then the next year, here's this other game that's 15 hours or more. Then the year after that, here's another game that's 15 hours or more. That's what I'm thinking it's going to end up being, which I don't.
The only thing I'm going to say is that I think that it would be real shitty for them to release those, and I'm sure they're probably going to do this, and I'm saying it's going to be real shitty. They're going to release each one of them as a $60 video game.
There's a good possibility of it, yes.
So that if you want to play the entirety of Final Fantasy VII, it's going to cost you $180. And I don't care what they say, and I don't care what they do. I think that's real horse shit if they do that.
Yeah.
So let's hope that it's like a more of a Resident Evil Revelations kind of season pass type of thing. Although I don't think it's going to be. Anyway, next up. You remember we talked about Sony PS4, PS2 titles on the PS4?
Yes.
Sony has announced the first set that they're releasing, and I believe, don't believe, was it you? It wasn't you. Maybe it was Nick that I was talking. No, was I talking with you about this? Where I said that I don't think that they're going to make it so you could just put a PS2 disc in and play whatever that game is.
I know we discussed that at a bar.
Okay.
Which I said no, they're not going to.
Yeah, I think I agreed with that. And no, they're not going to. So here's the thing.
That's the Sony way, is that we're going to sell it to you again.
Yep. So here's the thing. We've got Dark Cloud, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and Vice City and San Andreas. Rogue Galaxy, Mark of Kree, of all things, which are all $15 a pop, and then Twisted Metal Black and War of the Monsters that are $10 a piece.
Yeah, I've been kind of actually debating on whether or not to buy War of the Monsters.
Why don't you just borrow it from Matt Frank?
Because I want to own it. And you remember, I can't put the disc in the console and it works.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'd have to actually go bust out my...
Wait, these are not the same...
those are coming soon.
Oh, coming soon? Okay,
like somewhere down the line, they're going to do
Parappa the Rappa.
Yeah, Parappa the Rappa.
I've never played Parappa the Rappa, so maybe I should... how do these things look when you upscale them to 1080p?
No.
We're watching this trailer right now. I'm going to pull it up to 1080p. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, not great, but...
they're still PS2 games.
They are still PS2 games. I mean, I remember looking at an emulator a little while back for some of my PS2 games. It's way too... Because actually, it turns out that a lot of emulators out there, like if you legitimately own the game, right?
Yeah.
Like if you want to play a PlayStation or like a GameCube game, you can play it on...
oh, shit. Arc the Lad. Cool.
Yeah. You can play it on the Dolphin emulator,
yeah,
but then have it like super render it in a higher resolution, so you can basically get the sharpest version of it that you possibly can get. So it's actually testing it with some of the PS2 games that I own, and unfortunately, the one game that I really was kind of interested in was Final Fantasy 12 that doesn't render right on a lot of the emulators that are out there. So, well, you can tell what I watch on YouTube all the time. Anyway, so yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I think it's nice that they're giving people the ability to have this backwards compatibility. The price tag is so low that I don't know if that I'm super bent out of shape about it. Like, we by the time this comes out, we'll have played Rogue Galaxy, and $15. I never played it. It was like one of the last PS2 games to come out. Always wanted to play it, never got a chance. So I added another giant JRPG to the list of things on my plate.
Yeah, but that one's old enough that you can just come back to it whenever.
Yeah. Let's see. Parappa the Rappa 2, Arc the Lad, King of Fighters 2000 probably going to be making their way on in a few months. That's the story.
Nice.
So, hey, there you go. Next up, we have some trailers. Some more trailers. The first trailer is the opening cutscene for Street Fighter V. Got released.
Right.
Which is pretty... I mean, I don't know how much people are like super into this sort of thing. It's very inky, swirly. It looks a lot like the Street Fighter, like the last Street Fighter, right?
Except more, a little bit different,
more wobbly,
less outlines.
Okay. Oh yeah, less like just straight up ink, more swirls.
Yeah.
Anyway, looks pretty good.
Almost watercolor-esque.
Street Fighter V. What's that? February?
Yes.
It's pretty early in 2016, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we've got the Jack the Ripper gameplay, or the DLC for Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which unfortunately looks pretty good. There's no way I'm going to put that game back in my console even to play this.
Really?
Well, maybe. I mean, I have a show to run, right? So, and nothing comes out in January. But I would have much rather have seen Jack the Ripper be part of Syndicate, like actually a major part of Syndicate. It would have required slightly different time period, right?
Yeah, because the actual Ripper murders were like years later after this game takes place.
Right.
So it's this story takes place after the events of the game.
Right. In fact, we see Evie and she's older.
Which also makes me wonder, is it going to be a situation where the DLC is going to be something that you can just launch from the menu, or is it going to be one of those things that you have to have beaten the game to be able to play the DLC?
I'd be willing to bet that there's a part of the game that kind of almost comes off as DLC, a secret thing in the game. I'd be willing to bet it's maybe something like that, where you load up the game, and then there's an icon on your map where you can go, and it's like, beep, boop, boop, Animus, boop, 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 we're going to the Whitechapel murders, beep, beep, beep. Because, they make that noise all the time in Assassin's Creed. It actually does not look terrible. And I like their kind of weird Michael Myers and Friday the 13th one, Leatherface, or Jack the Ripper. But again, I just don't know that I'm really all that interested in going back and playing Assassin's Creed. Okay. And I must just wish I want to watch the YouTube video of somebody who plays all the way through that and just puts cutscenes together. But next up, the new Dark Souls 3 trailer.
No.
Bam, 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 bam.
Surprise, surprise.
Yep. This one actually doesn't really have that much of anything in it, honestly. It's very stylish and it's very Dark Souls-y, and it looks real good. Whatever.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Bloodborne engine or whatever they're using. Big old crazy-looking bosses. The gameplay, I think, looks a little bit more dynamic. I don't know if we've seen these fat knights before. Those are kind of interesting.
They look kind of like the guys from Bloodborne with the axes.
Okay, yeah. They actually look a little bit to me like there's these guys in the original Demon Souls that are these fat officials that you run across, like those guys, but in armor. I really have to say that I love the idea of this game being. The more that I think about it, the more I really like the idea of this game being the end, because Dark Souls 1 established the cycle of death and rebirth in the world. Dark Souls 2 showed you a world that has been affected by this years later, and I like the idea of Dark Souls 3 being you're going to break the rebirth cycle finally, and either save the world or destroy the world one way or the other, and not just because that was one of the things about Dark Souls 2 that I ended up not totally. I think Dark Souls 2 is fine, but it did kind of cheapen Dark Souls 1 a little bit because it was just like, oh, you remember that decision that you made? It didn't matter because no matter which decision you made, the cycle keeps going and the world keeps coming back, which is why 2 was less about the cycle and more about the little individual stories of people within it. So, and that is all the trailers that we have. So, CD Projekt Red announced Witcher 3 Blood and Wine.
What?
A new DLC, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was confused for a moment there.
Yeah. They got a couple new screenshots. It just basically shows a lot of like a big old city and some Witcher 3 stuff, and it's real pretty. And it'll be in 2016. Hearts of Stone was the last one in October, which I didn't, didn't get to. But I don't know. At some point it kind of sucks, John, because we're getting everything together. I'm going to be gone out of town for a week for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that would love to just take a console with me to my parents' house and sit there and play through something. But there's another part of me that's like, I think I just want to look at the snow and read a book because I just don't know. I feel like I'm what do you call it when you have too many choices and you're just paralyzed by. It happens in a lot of open world games, right? To people like in GTA games where there's so many choices that you're just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I should finish Fallout 4 or if I should try to finish the Bloodborne DLC or if I should try to finish this or if I try to finish that. But
I'm trying to think of the word for it.
Yeah, choice something. Fuck, dude. I just remembered. I was looking at my desktop. I just remembered.
I got it. It was spoiled.
No.
Spoiled, yes. That was the word I was looking for.
That would, maybe. We didn't even look at the fucking Protoss campaign.
No.
I bought it, I downloaded it, other stuff kept coming up. I just remembered that's why I've got the StarCraft 2 icon sitting on my desktop. I fucking bought the Protoss campaign, never looked at it. Motherfuckers.
They got
Spread it out. Spread it out, ass faces. Bloodstained, the Kickstarter with Ikaragi, got a new bunch of screenshots that are showing a new lighting engine, new shaders that they have. So this, you can see here, is a comparison of the main character in the new lighting engine and the old lighting engine.
Oh, looks nice.
New lighting engine, old lighting engine. So there's one more of her sitting in the chair between the two of them.
Oh. Yeah. The plants are moving!
The plant moves back and forth when I click back and forth. I honestly, God, cannot wait for this game to come out. I really would. I love me some Metroidvania. I got to resist the urge on top of all the other spoiled bullshit that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
That Shadow Complex Remastered came out. I'm just like, Oh man, I could really go for like 6 hours of Shadow Complex.
When I found out Shadow Complex was one of the games you could download on your Xbox One that was backwards compatible with the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
I legitimately was like, oh, I want to see how this runs just to compare it.
Right.
And started playing and I'm like, oh no, it's been 4 hours.
Have you downloaded it for free on the PC?
No, I haven't.
I actually didn't.
But it is going to be released on that remastered version is going to be released on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah. That's just a quick PSA. I think that we already mentioned this before, but hey, folks, if you own a PC that's even marginally decent at gaming, right now, if you go get Epic's installer, you can, until the end of the year, download and install the HD remastered of the PC version of Shadow Complex
For free. Yes.
So, and if you have not played that game, you should totally go download it for free, even if you're not going to play it right now.
Yeah,
just
you should.
download it. It's fucking 10 hours of paradise, and
it's a good game.
Motherfuck. So, all right. Next up, the developer Don't Nod. The guys who made Life is Strange have teased a few pieces of artwork for their next game called Vampyr, which is apparently going to be about a vampire doctor.
Okay. Does he have time travel powers?
No. It's in the middle of the Spanish flu outbreak. It's going to be an RPG where you have to decide if you're going to use your powers for good or evil. Maybe like people are dying in the Spanish flu epidemic, and you have to decide whether to turn them into vampires or to just let them croak and shuffle off the aforementioned mortal coil. The screenshots look very, very dingy and dark and kind of crazy,
as you would expect.
Yeah. Let's see. We finally got some release dates for Assassin's Creed Chronicles, India and Russia.
About damn time.
I know. When did China come out? It was like
fucking
4
earlier
or 5
in the
months
year.
ago, something like that. Like, goddamn. I didn't even play all the way through that one. So apparently, Assassin's Creed Chronicles India is going to be January 12th, and Russia, which is the one I'm really interested in, is going to be February 19th. No, 9th. February 9th.
Nice.
So.
It'd be nice to revisit the Russian character because he was in the comic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of the comic books was about that character.
Okay.
So
that seems like it would be a really good, like, again, do you remember there was a game called, what was it called? It's an old PC game where you had to foment a communist revolution to overthrow, like, the Eastern European state that you lived in, where you would, like, go to blocks and create revolution one thing at a time. God damn, what the hell was the name of that game? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's see. Let me see if I can't look it up. But it seems like Assassin's Creed would be like all of their different themes of liberty and oppression and things like that would work super good in a Russian Revolution.
No, it does. It was that comic was actually really good. Because it also dealt with some modern day stuff that was dealt with a descendant of that specific assassin that was also pretty cool.
Revolution? No, that's not. Okay. Never mind. I'm not going to be able to find this. I swear to God, somebody's going to know the name of that game. They're going to put it in the comments.
Yeah, they will.
All right. So next up, Bethesda is opening a new studio in Montreal.
Hey.
We want to speculate about what this could be, John?
I have no idea.
Apparently it's being hired by, they're directed by Yves Lachance, who worked with Bethesda when he was actually collaborated with Bethesda when he was at Behavior Interactive, formerly known as A2M, who created Fallout Shelter and collaborated with them on the last generation console version of Wolfenstein: The New Order.
I have heard some rumors that it's going to be a game a team that's going to be focused on more like mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
But that may just be wild speculation based on the fact that the dude created Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
But like that's been one of the speculation things that I've heard about it.
Oh, also the first patch for Fallout 4 came out. That was one of the stories that I axed because I was already like I thought foolishly that we could get through the Sony thing and this thing and still maybe have time for questions.
No.
So I should have just left in because the tabs on my browser were so small that I couldn't click on them. So I started just pulling down.
I understand.
Dumb
but
stories.
Yeah, patch came out for Fallout 4. It's on all consoles. So there you
go. All right, time for some more VR news.
Hey!
Apparently, all pre-orders of the Oculus Rift are going to include eValkyrie, which is pretty cool because Valkyrie looks like one of those. Again, we were talking before about VR, about how when you have a character that is inside the cockpit of a thing, it works really well. I can imagine just that they had that trailer from the Oculus event for Valkyrie looked fucking dynamite.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, Star Citizen. You looked good, but like,
you ain't got nothing on this.
there is a guy who made like it's a really, I don't know if it's been updated, but it was very, 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 very rough. You're flying a TIE fighter, or you're flying an X-wing into the star battle at the end of Return of the Jedi, and it's nowhere near as dynamic as that. But you can go down and strafe the Death Star, and you can try to take out Star Destroyers, and there's TIE fighters that are all over the place, and it is incredibly rough. It's like a bad PlayStation 2 game. It is also one of the most awesome fucking things, because I'm just like, yeah, I'm in fucking Return of the Jedi! So, if you're planning on buying an Oculus Rift before it comes out, if you're a crazy person like me, I think I might just pre-order both the Rift and the Vive.
Yeah.
Just to be like, fuck it, man, the future. I don't know, future.
And get a PlayStation VR?
No.
Not going to do PlayStation VR?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I really want to be proved wrong by this, but Sony, I feel like, is really doing the wrong thing with the PlayStation VR. Is that they're creating all these dumb VR experiences using the PlayStation Move. Well, what you need to be doing, as I've said a million times in the past, is giving me the ability to play Call of Duty Black Ops 3 in VR, or Bioshock Infinite in VR, or The Witcher 3 in VR, riding your horse, wandering around. I'm Geralt, blah, 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 blah. Boobs in your face, hacking and slashing. Great. Even a game like Diablo 3, like you remember you played that racing game that I had that one time, where it's like even just like a top-down action game, if you put that in VR, it's like you're a giant looking down at this land. It's really effective.
Yeah.
Like it's a different experience than you would get normally. So even playing something like Diablo in VR would be freaking great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But speaking of the old Vive, it looks like they actually have a full-on consumer release date for it.
About time.
Which is
I'm going to say that for every
be
VR headset that announces a release date.
April of 2016, which means that we're probably going to be going Oculus in Q1, Vive in April, and then the PlayStation VR is supposed to be in the first half of 2016, which means it'll probably come out April, May, June. The the last day of June, when they can technically still be within the first half of 2016. So yeah, I wish that I wish that I could get my hands on the Vive earlier, because I guess I don't really know as much about the consumer release version of the Oculus Rift, but I'm kind of wondering what makes this different. Because the thing is that if Valve throws support behind the Vive in a way that is going to put pressure on Steam developers to be making their games compatible, what it really comes down to, if you were really just a standard consumer, the best thing that you could do next year would be to wait till December and see what games from last year came out with VR support on the PC. Is my PC good enough to run it? What do I need to do to get my PC good enough to run it? And then pick whichever headset has the most compatibility. Because I can't tell. I like Oculus's like controller thing. On the other hand, I like the fact that Valve is behind the Vive, because it means that there's a potential for a lot more compatibility for the software.
I agree.
Next up, Blizzard announced that all of the Overwatch add-on characters and maps are going to be free.
Nice.
Yep. This was probably in the wake of the fact that I don't think that people were quite ready for the fact the game was going to cost money.
Yeah.
At least on the consoles, the version on the consoles. Wait, no, the PC version is going to cost money too, right?
There's actually two versions.
Yeah. But they said that they don't want to split their player base in any way, so they're going to try to keep all this stuff free over the life of the game.
Yeah, that's good.
Real smart. Good. Make some cosmetic microtransaction stuff.
Yeah, that's what they'll probably end up doing.
Destiny. All right, John. I know that we got two more, and then we're out of here. All right, so you're my
I'm your rock band man, because I'm apparently the only person in existence that still plays Rock Band that you know of.
Yep, they're probably out there somewhere, but I don't fucking know them. So apparently, Rock Band 4 is getting a new difficulty called Brutal. It's so brutal, John.
Brutal.
Where the notes disappear before they get to the line.
Yeah.
And the more betterer you play, the further up they disappear.
Yeah.
Encouraging you to actually learn the songs by memory in
Yes.
order to get them going correctly.
Yes. They've also added, like, in other modes, like, you can actually speed up the track and things like that as well.
That just seems very.
Here's the thing. People have been asking for shit like this.
Yeah?
Like, that's the only... Like, this mode specifically...
Yeah.
Like, this mode and the ability to speed up the tracks are two things that people
Speed
have...
up the highway?
Yeah, speed up the highway.
Okay.
Like, the music still plays at the same speed, but your highway... So, in other words, your highway would end before the song actually ends.
Really?
Because you finished playing it.
But so you're not playing in time with the song anymore?
No, it's
What?
just...
Why?
It's just people want the ability to change the speed of the play so that they can play faster or whatever.
That's
It's
weird.
like a high scored kind of thing.
Okay.
But people have been asking for it. Apparently
Okay.
that was something that was available in one of the previous Guitar Hero games.
Okay.
But was not available in any of the Rock Band games. And then people went, no, that's a feature you need to rip off. Like, you need that in your game.
Okay.
And they went, well, let us see if we can do it. And they came back and said, hey, you know that update we're going to do in December? It's going to have that.
Okay.
And then we're also going to do this other mode that makes it even, like, more difficult because apparently you guys want difficulty. And then all the community went, fuck yeah!
Okay. So I would.
I don't care, but
I'll tell you what feature I want, John. Well, have you done the update?
I
have you tried this or
not.
anything?
I have not
Okay.
played it yet. I haven't had a chance to do so as of yet.
I want a difficulty for Rock Band that is between medium and hard, so that when I'm drunk, I could play. I can't stand playing with only 4 buttons. But then when I put it on hard and somebody wants to play one of the songs that has a 5-star rating, and it's too hard. I need something just right, and some Goldilocks right in the middle there. Boom.
I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Yeah, me neither. All right, and last but not least, I always like to save a little something for you guys at the end. You remember old Star Wars 1313?
I vaguely remember it.
Yep.
Something starring Boba Fett.
Yep. Apparently, in an interview with Kathleen Kennedy over at Slash Film, she said, so our attitude is we don't want to throw away any of that stuff away. It's gold, and it's something we're spending a lot of time looking at, pouring through, discussing, and we may very well develop these things further. We definitely want to, which is not an announcement that 1313 is back or even a thing. It's just basically...
That elements of that game are probably going to be used in other games that they are working on.
Right. It may be resurrected in an entirely different way, or whatever work was done on it may be used in a different Star Wars game that's out there. So we can all cross our fingers and hold out hope. My fingers are very tired. They've been crossed about Prey 2 for a long time, so I'm pretty sure that's never, ever,
At least you didn't hold your breath.
And that's it. This whole show was... we went as fast as we could. We still went over 2 hours just on those things alone. So sorry about the questions this week, folks. We'll try real hard next week to get questions back in. See what we can do. If you send a question in this week, send it in again for next week. Or don't, or whatever. And with that, I gotta go rest my lips, man. My jaw is numb. I've just been flapping.
Yapping.
Flapping.
Just doesn't stop.
Man, damn.